Debbie does Dallas.
Debbie does. One day that will be on here. But I got Captain Ron here.
Welcome to America's hottest talk line. Guys, hot ladies are waiting to talk to you.
Vinegar syndrome. Guys.
It's on Netflix if you want to watch it.
It's a new one, and that's Air Force One.
Get off my plane. I think Sony paid you a bunch of money to talk about all their steelbooks tonight.
The screen movies
for the stuff, but you know,
are we seriously gonna have to talk about the screen movies again?
If you only see one movie this year, it should be Frankenhooker, Bill Murray, Ghostbusters, Caddyshack, Zombieland.
This is a movie I didn't think I'd like as much as I did, and I know it was like really popular because it like won some Oscars and whatever, but
Debbie does Dallas.
We're actually showing something is they actually produced crew jackets. Like the movie never went into production, but it's got a Delta Force 2 motion.
Hey, that works either way.
That's cool.
Is anyone even there still? I don't even know.
Yeah, we're just listening to
okay.
I was like, no one's saying it. Like,
really
into the story.
Bye, runner.
you too, buddy.
And he's out just like that. Mike dropped it, and he's gone. Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to the Physical Media Show. We are back this week. Sorry I had to miss last week. Something came up with the family. Everything is all good, though. But we are back this week with a new episode.
The surgery went well. You're now Gregina.
Yeah, how'd you guess?
I knew it.
How'd you guess? Oh, man.
Because you said you wanted to be Faye Ray.
Oh, and it wouldn't be a Physical Media Show without all you beautiful people out there. And as you see, Runner is no longer with us.
We have Runner 2.0.
Yes, we have Runner 2.0.
He and I fought, and I've now taken his place amongst the ranks.
They had Mortal Kombat, and Rook just barely beat him.
Oh.
That's how one becomes a co-host.
You mentioned Mortal Kombat. You know, Runner would have been like 2 hours. We had tryouts, and he climbed the wall and he won. But yes, the rookie critic will be the new Runner 2.0, as Tom mentioned there, of the co-host here. Someone for us to pick on and teach in the ways of physical media. Mr. Miyagi Tom and me as Daniel LaRusso. So I'll take that.
I thought we were here to talk about how cool Netflix is.
Oh, God, no.
Miyagi-san.
Hulu's great. Amazon Prime. Aren't those what physical media show's all about?
And he's fired.
Yeah, we're holding tryouts already.
It's going to be a long journey for me, isn't it? Yeah.
I've already got new people coming in testing now.
I just got in a fight with Johnny, aka Runner, and now I'm looking for Miyagi to train me. It's going to be a long time, I know. So get me.
I got the casting couch ready.
Is that his name, Johnny? I never knew his name.
Oh yeah, was it? Yeah, he never did tell us his real name. Did he?
He never told me his name.
He never did.
Kind of like a hooker.
Literally just referring to Cobra Kai.
Oh, Johnny.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know what his real name.
I was going with the
I'll be
Miyagi
100% honest with you. I've known the kid for like 3 years. I don't know his name.
I was going with the Miyagi scheme we were doing here.
He never told me his real name.
Never did.
I've got to make it a tough hill to climb. First video I'm going to talk about is movie, of course. It's going to be Whiplash and Don't Breathe.
Oh, for crying
and then
out
Scream
loud.
to top it off, of course. And now I am officially going to advance.
You're going to have people in the chat just like calling for your replacement already.
Yeah.
I got to have somewhere to go. See, there's only up from here at this point. So.
At least I know your name. It's Jeff. I've known Jeff actually probably longer than I've known Runner.
I know.
I'm going on almost 5 years or something.
God, at least. Something like that.
I think so.
Insane.
Back to the TLJ.
When you were just a little child. You was a little chitlin.
Oh, yes, little boy.
Before he was even watching movies.
Practically.
I found him at the side of the road, and I handed him a DVD, and I said, "Here."
I was like, "Wow!" I
watch
tried
this
to eat
kid.
it, and he's like, "Oh, it's gonna take a while. That one.
It's going to change your life."
That was a good meal.
Yes,
all right.
And that movie was Debbie Does Dallas.
Oh yeah.
I started him right.
I was actually going to buy that movie and have it on for Runner's last show. Legitimately was.
I thought about it too. Yeah,
me
funny.
too. But it was like it's $30. I was looking at the Blu-ray. It's like $30 for the Blu-ray, and it's a scan from the VHS. That's good. It's a scan from the VHS. They didn't upconvert it or anything.
That's dumb. I had a DVD. I wonder if that guy I gave it to, if I could get a hold of him. I had a DVD box set of Debbie Does Dallas, The Devil and Miss Jones, Candy Stripers, and Deep Throat. And when I had my kid was born, just to be whatever, to make my son's mom happy, I gave that DVD box set, which at that time, you got to think about how much that box set probably cost me. Because this was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So it was like $100 box set just for those 4 movies. And so she's like, "Yeah, I want that in the house with the kid." Thank you, kitty. You're an asshole. He just,
You're not paying attention to me.
I don't even know what the hell he's doing now.
He's making himself a sandwich.
I don't know. He either broke something and he's playing with the pieces, or
passing the fork around, trying to.
I think he knocked a knife off the counter. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. A butter knife.
There's butter on the knife, trying to lick the knife, and then.
I think so. Yeah. It sounds like you're experienced.
Yes.
But anyway, where was I with my stupid story? So I gave it to a buddy, the box set to my buddy of mine, and I don't know if he still has them or not. But I never had given them away.
Yeah.
Oh,
well. No. But yeah, it was just.
Oh, those were decent scans. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, yeah, you should maybe. Did your buddy? You still in touch with him?
Not really. I haven't talked to him in maybe 10 years ish. Maybe not that long, but close to it. Like I saw him when I was working at a store, God, like 10 years ago ish. Like I said, but that was the last time we talked. Yeah. I wonder what that box set goes for now, though. That's my bigger question.
Probably a lot of money. Probably a good amount.
I can't believe Vinegar Syndrome hasn't. Like, exactly. Don't you think like that would be like their crown jewel box set? Would be like Deep Throat, Debbie Does Dallas, The Devil and Miss Jones,
right? But they've separated their porn from them now.
I don't care. They still should. I mean, I understand why they did, because it can be a little. Because some of their movies can be a little confusing, and then I buy shit like Bat Pussy,
and it's horrible.
And it is horrible porn. It's not even good porn, right? It is like just some horrible ass porn. I don't know if you saw that episode, Rookie, but man, I was so upset.
The most low effort trash.
It was like it's like a $30 disc to top it off. And it's from some really run-down print because they couldn't find anything better. And it's literally just some chick dressed in a really crappy homemade Batman outfit bouncing around on a ball for like a minute. And then it's like 2 or 3 sex scenes in a row with the camera not even cutting, not even any kind of production value whatsoever.
No, one of those where they just
straightforward on.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Like 16 or 8 millimeter or whatever it was. It just looks horrible.
The smallest effort possible.
It is, and it's barely over an hour. No. Oh my God, it could have ended soon enough. Nothing to do with Batman. And I'm like, you could have made a really funny Batman porn, especially back then. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't Batman porn only be funny? Like, I kind of feel like maybe there's a little arousal that's.
Well, and that's the thing is this porn would have been made within 10 years of the '60s show. That's the even funnier part.
Yeah.
So like they like.
Maybe that crew got really inspired and helped push them to make that show.
No.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I have no idea. I haven't seen either of them to know. So,
all right, I'm gonna say hi to the chat real quick, and then we'll get into this because there's not really much news for what's coming out to talk about. So we'll get to some of that here in a minute. But I want to say hi to the chat. Christopher Burkill, welcome. He says waiting with bated breath. Joey says need a mint. Welcome, Joey. Carl's Art Universe, hail to you. Dalton B, cheers to you. And yes, we are back, baby style selection. Tim Hayes, what is up? Glad to have you in the chat as always. Tyrell72, Greetings, my friend. Rick Johnson. Hey, what's up? Rick, I think that's a new name. Let me know if that's new. I'm not sure.
I thought you
But
said
glad
Rex
to have you.
Johnson.
Glad to have you here,
Dick
Rick Johnson.
The manliest name in the world.
That's what they call me, Big Dick Johnson.
That's right, and my son, Little Dick.
And then we have Dan Blackroyd with us tonight, as always. Says, Runner, we barely knew him. Greetings. And what is up, the real Sean
I
Crumb?
don't know his name.
Yeah, I know. I just now thought of that myself too. 3 years, and he never once said his real name.
Maybe he'll direct and have the name Runner as the new director. Runner, the famous YouTuber from the Physical Media Show, comes back with the new film. I couldn't think of a title, so
it's with the new film. That's the name of the film. New film.
Yes, new film.
We have Christopher Barker. What is up? He says, hi, FanZcene and all. Thoughts on the Disney and Charter dropping Freeform Disney Junior FXX Inspector? I don't care because I don't watch any of those channels, so I'm pretty good with it. Maybe, I mean, FFX stuff, maybe a little bit, but other than that, it didn't bother me.
Wait, is that like a typo of FX, or is that like an actual?
No, they actually have another FXX channel.
Yeah, it's like FX2 basically.
Yeah,
like
when
what
they
does
use
it do that's different than FX?
I don't think there's much of a difference at all, really. It's just like
cause.
Yeah.
It's kind of like MTV and MTV2.
Yeah.
ESPN and ESPN 8.
We have so much content. We have to have 2 channels to hold it. Is that
it became this thing like in the 90s, going in the aughts. You had the additional MTV2 and some of the other channels come in. But then what happened was during the digital transfer over, like all these stations could have a bunch of 0.0 stations. So like between that and I'm assuming cable, it opened up a bunch of licenses there too. So like we literally, like I said, I wasn't kidding when I said ESPN has 8 channels.
No, wait. Oh, seriously? Okay. Well, I thought Dodgeball was making fun of that. Like,
the Ocho
ESPN
is real.
I thought there was like ESPN2, and then they just took Dodgeball and were like,
No. The Ocho is real. The Ocho is definitely real. They cover like a lot of smaller sports, but yeah, I am not fucking kidding.
I thought that was just a creative movie choice invention.
No.
That's funny.
Yeah, like Rick said in the chat. No. That's his real name. I was gonna say it is that is a real channel. At last I knew.
Can you guys hear me? I have no idea what just
we
happened.
hear you now. You just dumped out for a second there.
Yeah, I know, it was weird. I don't know what happened there. It's just like boom.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, Film Watcher brings up the 1500 Disney Blu-ray set. That's the only reason we didn't have a 4K for you earlier. That's literally like the only thing we had to talk about. And what are we gonna say?
Yeah.
No, I ain't buying no $1,500 box set that I already got all the movies that I want out of anyway.
Yeah.
That could be a short show, like it as a short. Just that's what that is. All right, bye.
Okay, here's the only news I can carry for anybody who. This is the only thing that I can say for any collector out there. If you're somebody who's not been in the Disney Movie Club yet, and you missed out on things like the Black Cauldron so far, that is in here. There's like 2 or 3 titles that are in here that were Disney Movie Club exclusives. But outside of that, nothing's new. It's not 4K. It's all Blu-ray. There's 100 discs in here. And chances are you probably have them already. Because it's all the stuff from Snow White up through the Pixar days. It's all animated features as well. None of it is live action. They even have some of the sequels crammed in here, like Jungle Book 2 and such.
Wait, so it's got some of the direct-to-TV stuff on there too? Or
No. It's just all the theatrical animated films.
Yeah, everything's been released before, except
none of the straight-to-video sequels. Yeah,
okay.
Who's Heffalump was a Disney Movie Club exclusive. Black Cauldron was a Disney Movie Club exclusive, and there was one other one in there, Greg, that I saw was a Disney Movie Club exclusive. But it's only animated films, so nothing like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or the Mighty Ducks. It's just their animated films, Pixar and Disney animation only.
Yep.
Huh. Wow. I was gonna say, do you guys think if they put like the direct-to-TV stuff or those sequels, like if those were on DVD, or like if you could buy the original with the sequels ones, you think people would get those, or is that like a total waste of an attempt at?
No, they sell them once in a while, especially through the Movie Club. Because like the only reason I've got some of those sequels is because of the Movie Club. Because like when Cinderella came out the first time, you could get a set with Cinderella 2 and 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I have those. I think the Aladdin sequels are the only ones I don't have, and I don't think they've been put on Blu-ray yet. Surprisingly,
because I was like, wouldn't people want to like have the?
Those are two that I think people would want the most of, but for some reason they just haven't been put on Blu-ray yet.
I think people would want the collections, and the sequel or the Disney sequel movies have heard that vary in quality, like that.
But yeah, like my Peter Pan one has Peter Pan and Return to Neverland in it, for instance, and a couple other. I'm trying to think. There's a couple of them I have like that where when I got them from the movie club, they came with the sequels as well on Blu-ray. But I'm trying to remember what they were. Like Emperor's New Groove came with Kronk's movie and all that stuff too, for instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the sequels are on Blu-ray, Christopher? Maybe I hadn't picked them up yet then. I didn't know that.
All right.
I think they are, yeah.
Are they movie club exclusives? But see, now those sequels are not in the box set because those are straight to video. That's why.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's no new scans, and I was hearing that a lot of special features are not going to be carried over.
Yeah, unless it's on the main disc.
Features.
I was just gonna say, unless it's on the main disc, I doubt it. And there's like and I guess I'll give them credit for not throwing in some random bonus disc that you can only get in this set, because that's usually what they end up doing to you.
To make it like extra exclusive or something.
Yeah, so like you end up spending a buttload of money just for a bonus disc with like a half hour of features.
No.
I've had shit like that happen to me many a time.
I forgot this comment like a million times in that video I did on it. No song of the South.
That's technically not an animated feature. Technically.
A percentage.
But it's not like, because they don't have like Mary Poppins in this box set. They don't have Roger Rabbit in this box set. Now there's things like Nightmare Before Christmas, I argue, because that technically it wasn't a Disney movie to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, other than that, it's all the original classic films all the way up through modern day. And actually, I think there is one missing. I don't think they ever put that Roseanne movie on disc on Blu-ray.
Oh, with the cow. Yeah.
Yeah. Which would be technically the last 2D animated Disney feature, wasn't it? Until they did The Frog and the Princess.
I think it was.
Home on the Range. I don't know if that one was in there. I don't remember seeing that one in the list.
Well, I think we know why they probably wouldn't add that one.
Exactly. I was going to say, I don't think that one's even gotten a Blu-ray. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's literally the only big release everybody's been talking about. I don't think there's been nothing else. Kino Cult is going to be releasing 2 Days in the Valley on Blu-ray, and it's going to have what I was reading. That's like the one I saw. Stallone and the directors has a conversation for the special features. So,
why don't I know that movie?
That's with Terry Hatcher, James. Oh my God, what's
Sylvester
his name?
Stallone got to do with it?
That's what I was wondering. I didn't read about it, and I don't remember.
Was he a producer or something on it? Or?
I don't know. I have to look into it because I just saw that was going to be a special feature, and I was like, "That's weird," because it's what's his name? He does the Blacklist, and James Spader, Terry Hatcher, the blonde. What is her name? I can't think of her name. It was like one of her first movies. She's from South Africa. What's her name?
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yeah, it's like one of them stories where it's like a bunch of people in the valley. I think you've seen it. You may have seen it, but I remember
it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, but I didn't understand why Stallone had to do it 2 Days in the Valley. So if anybody wanted to know about that, it's funny.
Terry Hatcher is his sister
in Tango
in the
Cash.
Movie.
Yeah.
Tango and Cash. They're not sister and brother in real life, though. Les.
No, I actually just watched that on TV the other day. It was on, and I was like, I got caught up watching it. Yes, they're doing Cujo. We did talk about that. But yeah, I don't know. I have to look into that. I wish I would have read further. I just saw it scrolling and not too long ago before we started the show, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And I kept going. But that's really about it.
There really was nothing for announcements this week. Yeah, it was really slow. There's a few rumors, but a lot of them are rumors we've already had before, or nothing I can really comment on necessarily. So
yeah. I don't think they ever will. Disney's just too chicken.
No.
They're just too chicken. They'll never do it.
I already got a Blu-ray anyway.
Me too. Wink. But there's some news. If anybody didn't know, Kino has launched a new branch of their thing called Kino
I
Cult.
saw that.
So they'll be releasing like certain cultish type movies through there that maybe you would typically see maybe Vinegar Syndrome or Scream Factory do. So that's
I'm looking at Blu-ray.com right now, and they have literally added like nothing hardly new. Like, I mean, these are all stuff we already knew about. Air, Mission Impossible, Season 2 of Strange New Worlds, I guess, is new news for anybody who actually gives a shit. Terms of Endearment we knew about last week, even though it's been posted 3 hours ago. I don't know what's new about this. Details, I guess. Okay. So we got a few details here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 Days in the Valley. Okay, this is what you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I see the cover, I know I've seen the cover, but I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
Oh, I've seen it.
Maybe he's got a cameo in it. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
I don't know how it's. I'll have to, when it comes out, if I buy it, I have to rewatch it, because honestly, the one scene I remember the most from the movie, and it's a typical me why I would remember it. It's James Spader takes an ice cube, puts it in his mouth, and rubs it around Charlize Theron's nipple. So
I think I remember that.
I remember that.
I have not seen this then, but I do remember this poster here.
Yeah,
for the cover for the DVD.
Yeah. And that's where
boy, she is young in that. Holy shit!
Damn. It's one of her first things, because this is what I remember. She bloodied Terry Hatcher's nose in the movie because they have a fight scene, and she said at the time of they did it, Terry Hatcher was like the star, because she was coming off of Lois and Clark, and Charlize Theron was very new, and they have a fight scene, and when they were fighting, she legitimately got into it and broke.
So this would be early '90s then. Okay.
Yeah.
So this would be Charlize. Was it before or after Mighty Joe Young?
I think it might be before.
Okay. Yeah, because then the only other new thing I see in here is the Sandman complete first season in 4K was announced for Blu-ray, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is a Warner that was a Warner Brothers one, but they've been pretty good at releasing their shows.
Yeah.
Fear and Desire. Of course, I just bought this. This is news. One of Stanley Kubrick's earlier films, Fear and Desire, which I just bought from Kino Lorber, you dirty bastard. It's getting a new 4K restoration. Imagine that.
Oh, go figure. Happens all the time. Get used to that, Ruck, because it happens a lot.
I'll give them this. At least it's not one of the, because they've had a nasty habit of re-releasing a couple titles without it being new features or anything like that. All it is at a higher bit rate, so they just put it on a fatter disc.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you dirty fuckers.
Like they're doing with the Ninja, the American.
Yeah, I've already got that one, and I've already got one of the other ones they're doing too, the Bronson one. I can't remember which title it was, but yeah.
Or the
I don't know if it was White Buffalo or one of the other ones.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
I'm like, I already got them, you shits. Oh no, White Buffalo I think got a new scan, but they're doing that to a few titles where they're just releasing with a higher bit rate, and it's like, I appreciate it, but I already bought it.
Yeah.
Not buying it again.
It works, but 4K scan. But that's about it, guys. That's what's coming. If there's anything in there that interests you, there you guys go. Oh, what's up, Random Brad? Finally, I was wondering where you were at tonight. What's up, man? But with all that being said, Rook, since you're the new man here, what's your first pick of the evening?
Alrighty, for my first pick, I wanted to pick something that you guys may not have seen, but you also might have. I don't know. DOA, Dead or Alive.
I've actually seen parts of this movie, not the whole movie.
It is
He's definitely your kid, Greg.
It is a fun ride. Is it a good film? It's one of those like questionably ones where it's like that part's good. Some of that cinematography thing was awesome. This looks cool, but then it's like, oh no, like there's a little action scene where he freaking throws like needles in the air and then like is a Matrix type of thing in the air and pokes them in their throat and stuff. And it's like, what? It's just like some funny stuff. It's based on the video game, I think, and it says, quote on the bottom here, the best movie adaptation of a video game so far. I wonder if that's true. I doubt it.
No, from what I remember, it was considered a bad movie when it came out.
Oh, I'm sure, but I don't know. When you look at a lot of stuff today and how unfun things are, I don't know. I saw this. This was hilarious. There's like some funny little jokes here and there that are just like, they're fighting or something. They're next to each other. The dad walks in and he just thinks they're lesbians for some reason. It's like, Daddy, no. And then like they just do these weird fights. They throw each other into stone and are totally fine. And the guy's trying to steal all their like fighting moves so he can be the best fighter in the world or whatever. And it's like really wacky. It is free to watch on like Prime, on Tubi, and whatever if you don't want to get the DVD.
Oh, but there's the runner in him. There's the runner in him.
It is a solid gem. Not a good film, but a solid gem to watch. There's a difference.
I just remember when it came out that it was considered one of the worst movies of its time.
I'm sorry. Do you just believe what reviewers say or what the ratings say?
No, I don't listen to that stuff.
Come on.
But I remember that. I think I remember a sword
time.
Fight in the movie is all I remember from seeing.
The sword fights are awful, but that's why they're funny, because they're awful. Like that. Like it's the kind of it's not The Room levels, but it's like in that area for an action movie is what I would say. Something like that, where it's like there's good in here because it's bad, is how I'd kind of put it. So
it's a good bad movie in your opinion. A good bad movie, man.
A good bad movie, yeah, pretty much. Right here. I'm curious if anybody else has seen it in the chat.
Yes, we've had a few people. Dan Blackroyd, he says Holly Valance was extremely hot in it.
It's a lot of hot chicks. I mean, bro. Like, like it's made for some visual appeal over substance in this one. So that's what that's for.
Style section says, I don't care what anybody says. I like it. So
yeah,
I've had a few people.
I got some people on my side in the chat. Thank you.
Style section owns the blue.
It's worth it. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
There you go. This is the comment of the night right here. He may have my looks, but he's got Greg's taste.
Say, don't get cocky. The chat will turn on you real fucking quick. You bring out something stupid.
Okay. That's okay. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Don't worry. Put the bad ones away for tonight. I'm gonna have the bangers out tonight. The show is after this, and we'll see.
Bangers, huh?
The bangers and mash.
Oh yeah, bang it away, Bangladesh. That's it. But yeah, really, it's a fun little one. Some great lines. I'd like one of these days I'll do a review on it or something and just have the best lines clipped in a row or something to play because it is funny as shit. And yeah, just it's free to watch if you don't want to pay for it. So
yeah,
there you go.
You got a little runner in you, early runner. This reminds me of the early days of Runner. It truly does.
I figure it's like Pokemon training. I'm still in Pallet Town or something. Still gonna, I'll make my way up there though. I'll catch them all.
Yeah.
We'll get you set up. Don't worry.
I'm gonna bug Tom all the way through. I'm gonna pull on his shirt. Like, hey, where are we going there? What's that thing over there? What's this over there? What's that? This is pretty cool.
There's one thing you already got up on Runner. We know your name.
You know my name.
We would talk to Runner for hours, and he never said his name.
Well, to be fair, we never asked.
That's true. We never did.
Well, when I first met him, he was still under 18. So look. And this is full disclosure. He doesn't know this, but I didn't like avoid him, but I was like very leery about being on any streams with anybody under the age of 18. Mm-hmm. So there were times where I wouldn't necessarily, converse with him too much. And that was the main reason why, because I didn't want to get accused of corrupting the innocent. Once he turned 18, all bets were off.
Yeah.
I
can fuck him up all I want.
Dan Blackroyd's comment there, that's a layered one right there, Dan Blackroyd. He says, this is Runner with Forrest Gump's leg braces still on. That's a joke on us being kind of stupid, but also Runner with a leg brace is going to cripple. He's not going to be able to run as well, even though he's the runner. But now I'm the new runner.
If he was crippled, I'd have to call him Crippled Runner. That's hilarious.
Actually, Tiki Duma, I do not have a video on International 4K Player, but I think we've talked about this. Have we talked about it? Was on 4K for you with
are you talking about an actual like region free, or are you from another country and you want some recommendations outside of the US for your country? As far as like a region free, there's a few options out there. I've got a couple. I don't have one I would directly recommend because here's the problem. They're usually hacked or whatever you want to call it, cracked or whatever. So you're kind of like a buyer beware situation. What I would do just to be safe is buy something from like Amazon. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought you meant. Yep. I'd probably buy something from Amazon. That way, just in case something doesn't work right, you have a better chance of being able to send it back or what have you. You can take a chance on eBay, but if you do, I would definitely use like PayPal or something like that, or make sure it has returns on it just in case something happens. Now, I've never had a problem with the 2 or so that I've bought in my lifetime, but the only other thing I can say is just make sure it's going to hook up to anything you want. I have run into some issues with them playing 3D Blu-rays because I do have one region locked 3D Blu-ray that I cannot play for some reason because the players I have won't play 3D Blu-ray. Now, I don't know if I can fix that. I haven't tried to necessarily, but I don't want to mess with the firmware in my player because I don't want to fuck it up.
Right.
That's kind of what it is it's like a cracked open region, open free thing. And yeah, I don't want to mess it up. So, yeah, I mean, but if in a lot of cases though, depending on what you're getting, I've really only got a handful of discs that I have to use my region free player for, if that tells you anything. Because a lot of times they're either open or it's just the bonus features and such, which again, of course, that's probably what you want to get your hands on for some cases. But yeah, you'd be surprised 9 times out of 10, a lot of stuff is not region locked, even if they say it is. But no, I've run into it from time to time. So
yeah, sometimes Arrow, especially like with their Blu-rays, they'll say, "Oh, they're region locked," and then you pop them in, and they're not. So
really,
case in point, the House box set, yeah.
The House 1, 2, 3, and 4, they were supposed to be region locked, but they weren't.
Well, so like when they say it won't play in like our regions thing, but then just will.
Yeah, that right there.
Yeah, the first 2 were supposed to be region free, and 3 and 4 were supposed to be region locked. Because I don't even think you can get 4 in the US, supposedly. And when they released it, it was region free.
Wait, so why do they have region locks in the first place?
The original reason for it was because back in the day, well, there's 2 reasons actually. The first reason is back in the day when they used to release movies more staggered. Like, so you'd have a movie like, let's say, what's the new big summer movie? Barbie that just come out this year. Okay, they released it in the summer here, but normally in the UK, let's say, their big movie season is Christmas, the holiday season. So they would have maybe held off Barbie till the holiday. And so when it would be coming out on video here, they wouldn't want people to be able to just, buy movies and have them shipped over there and have movies that are in theaters and bootleg them and all that kind of crap.
Yep.
So you had, first of all, you had like the different standards for television. So you already kind of had a region locking of sorts when it came to television. Because in the US, we have the NTSC standard, which Japan has as well. Then you have like the UK, which has the PAL standard. And I believe, didn't Australia use the PAL standard as well? Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. And so on down the road. So there was different kinds of ways like they could lock people out of watching things from other countries. Now there was ways around it if you knew how to get there, but then that was the original reason, is just so they couldn't have bootlegs of movies that are still in theaters or in their country. B, there's also like licensing. So like, yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you, Black Red. The other problem is like different licenses in different regions. Like, so, a different distributor might own the rights to Barbie in a different region. So they don't want their version to be monopolized by the Warner Brothers release when it comes out. You know what I mean? So they're able to lock out other countries, basically, is what it is.
I guess I get it, but it sounds like it's more of a very temporary type of thing that it would be used for, right? Like if it's still in theaters, and then so once it's out of theaters, why would the copies from
now it's more for the licensing
I don't really understand
thing.
That.
Now it's more for a licensing thing. So for like a great example is here in the US, Lionsgate owns a lot of the rights to movies that Studio Canal releases in the UK. And so on and so forth. So sometimes those are region locked for that reason. Arrow will release like a special edition over in the UK where Shout will have it over here so that they're not competing with each other. They'll be region locked to their countries, for instance.
Yep.
So that's kind of what it's more so for now. And in fact, we've only run into a couple of titles that are 4K and actually aren't region free, which is
yeah.
a
Once
first.
it was a couple Studio Canal titles that were region locked here in the U.S. for 4K.
I thought it was a Shout title too.
It was Studio Canal did a scan of the Wolf movie, Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Okay, and that's probably why they
now, and then it was Studio.
They probably demanded it, yeah.
So they locked it here. So, but that's why, yes.
I guess I'm naive in that sense because I just kind of thought it would be like, well, make DVDs and DVD players so they can play anywhere across the world. But I would assume they'd have a similar setup.
It's more about licensing.
DVD,
it's more about licensing at the end of the day, really, is what it's about.
Because it's like if I wanted to watch something from a foreign country, even like, would I not be able to? Because they
depends on if they're region locked or not.
Yeah,
but for the same reason, they don't want you to be able to go and import, say, One Piece over here. They have a license for it through whoever owns the license here. They want you to buy those versions because they're the ones who paid for the license to have it in the United States. Does that make sense?
I guess so. I just is there a way that like they could ever improve that, you think, or a question for another time?
Actually, this is probably one of the best ways to do it. It sucks for some of the consumers, but it's been this way for just about everything before movies and everything else. Like even shoes, food, clothing, you name it. Like even the movie Smokey and the Bandit. Have you seen that?
No.
You've never seen Smokey and the Bandit? Okay, well, the basic idea of the movie is they want to take Coors beer from one part of the country to the other under 2 days or whatever it is. But the problem is once they go past a certain state line, it's considered bootlegging because they have certain license deals that are in certain areas. So it's the same kind of thing. If you want, it's just like for the same reason why you can't just open a store and call it McDonald's. You have to actually buy into the franchise.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess
because they turn around and sue you. So like, if like a bunch of these movies that get released in other countries, if they're not following what they're supposed to do, they'll lose their license, or a studio could come in and sue them, or what have you. Now, even if like Warner Brothers were to release a movie that they own over here, but they don't own in, say, China because they sold the license to somebody else, then same kind of thing there. It's just a way of regulating because different regions own different rights to certain things. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense to an extent, but I feel like after a certain amount of time, like let's say it's a movie from 20 or 30 years ago, and it's like not even on, like if it's not even available to get, but or like in a normal way, like I don't know. I feel like there should be maybe, I don't know what the solutions would be for that stuff, but there's been some things on occasion where it's like I came across a movie title that looked kind of cool, or I saw a trailer for it randomly, and then it's like, oh, I can't get it. I'm like,
sadly, most older movies have more complicated licensing deals than more newer movies. That's the thing, is in the last 20 years, these studios have pretty much made it to where they control worldwide distribution. Like, so Warner Brothers was actually a bad example to use because they control, as far as I know, like 99 or more, all of their distribution throughout the world. So they press the discs for every country, and every country gets pretty much the same thing across the board. But for some older films, since they had different distribution deals back in the day, different people own them in different regions. Sometimes you'll have like stuff that's hard to get a license for because the producer or whoever owns it is a dick. Like Dawn of the Dead is one that's constantly having issues in a lot of Romero films. Yeah,
because one guy owns some of the Romero stuff and he refuses to let anybody work with it but himself. That's why we didn't even get the extended.
And he asked for astronomical fees. Yeah.
But Poker Ace 6666, Panasonic, Sony, LG, 4K Blu-ray players, Pioneer.
LG does some pretty good ones. Yeah.
Yep, they're great. You can get them at Walmart, Best Buy.
The only thing I don't like about LG is their players that I've run into feel a little on the cheaper side. But yeah, Panasonic, Toshiba, Sony are probably the higher end ones.
Yeah, the Panasonic ones are really good. So, but with all that being said, let's go to you, Tom. What's your first pick of the night?
All right, well, let's go way back.
Oh, yeah.
This is a movie. I'd never seen the original version of it. At least I don't remember seeing it, but I think I did years ago on Turner Classic Movies. Because after watching it, I'm like, I think I've seen this before. I mean, I know I've seen the remake. And I'm probably going to piss some people off when I do say I like the remake more.
Uh-oh.
But we actually have it on 4K for the first time, and it looks really well done. And that movie is Invaders from Mars.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And yeah, it's from who put this out? Synapse? No, it's Ignite.
Yes,
Ignite and NFSA. So yeah, it's a nice collection. You get a nice booklet inside. It doesn't have reversible art or nothing, but could have been nice with a slip cover. But no, it's a nice transfer. Looks really well done. It's from a Technicolor, mostly from the negative and whatever fine grain stuff they had to find. I mean, sometimes you can kind of tell they had to work with some lesser quality material. But it's got a great bunch of extras on here. You get the UK alternate ending on here, and some other things. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but I do enjoy the Toby Cooper version a little bit better. It's a little bit more streamlined. This feels a little bit more hokier. Yeah, well, both versions 50s are great. I mean, it just goes to show you the strength of this film's stories because just of how bad the special effects. I mean, some of the special effects for the time are really good. But I mean, like, you can see the main alien guys are just dudes in a suit. You can literally see the zippers of their back and shit.
I love that in old movies.
I mean, well, that's the thing about the 50s. The 50s were a really chintzy time for this kind of stuff. But Invaders from Mars is one of those films that is almost like a, just one you almost have to have if you're a sci-fi horror film.
Oh yeah, big time.
So no, I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, I have the VHS.
Awesome.
I did, but it is good. Don't get me wrong. I do like the original. I think the original is a classic and is the first 50 sci-fi in color. I believe that's what it says. I
believe so. Yes.
Yeah, and it's good. It's a fun movie. It's a good time. But I do have to say I might agree with you there, Tom, that the 80s version is a little better. It's you get into it a little more, and it's a little more.
You got Nurse Ratched as the fucking teacher, and she is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, right.
Which one would you recommend watching first?
I actually saw the remake first, and it scared the fuck out of me as a kid.
Yeah,
but I was like 7 years old when I saw that movie too. It was like, I can't believe my parents let me watch it, but it was only rated PG.
Makes sense, yeah. Why not?
Like, they even had a PG-13 at that time, and I watched that movie like a year ago, and I'm like, how is this movie not PG-13?
I love the idea of like that and like Saving Private Ryan, just these like graphic movies. It's like PG, kids can watch.
I mean, it's not so much that it's graphic; it's got a lot of dark and scary moments. Maybe it's because there's not a lot of swearing in it or something. Like, yeah, but Bogey, like the frog scene, some of the shit that's in it from like just the visceralness of it. It's not like gross, but it's just dark, and
I gotcha.
In a body snatcher kind of way. Like, I mean, it's all from the point of view of this kid, just like in that sense, it's the remake is very faithful to the original. I mean, it's almost beat for beat. The whole idea of that it's almost kind of like a Rear Window with a kid in a weird way. Like, Greg knows what I'm talking about because we were just recently talking about Rear Window, where he sees this thing and nobody believes him, and the only person who believes him is one teacher, and or the school counselor or whatever it is. I think it's the school nurse in the original one, and then the remake it's the school counselor, if I'm not mistaken. But I can't remember. But no, it's really good. Yeah, it's a lot like The Thing in that respect. I agree. Plus the special effects in the new one it was one of Cannon's more expensive films. I don't know if people realize that. And they were pissed at Toby Cooper for that movie for how much money. I think didn't it cost him his third, because he had a 3-picture deal, and the only stipulation is one of them had to be Texas Chainsaw. And I think that was his second movie, and I don't. Yeah. Oh no, he did do the vampire one too. He did do all 3 of them. That's right.
I know he was doing Texas Chainsaw 2 and that sort of at the same time.
Yeah, but then what's that other one he did? Because he did another one for Canon too, because he had a 3-picture deal.
I can't remember, but I know that's why they what they did with.
Is it Life Force? Did he direct that one, or is it?
Yeah, he
another
did.
one I'm thinking of.
He did do Life Force
because I think that's a Canon title. If I'm not
Life
mistaken.
Force Canon.
If I'm not mistaken, somebody will correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But no, and now we're talking too much about the remake, but like, yeah, no, this is a good film. For the 50s, it's actually really well done. Again? Invaders from Mars.
Invaders from Mars. Okay,
it's good on the list. Ricky,
you're gonna have a hard time finding the remake though on disc.
Yeah,
maybe I'll find it on digital right now. That'd be about it.
You would probably be best to start with the 80s version first.
Okay.
For like Tom was saying.
It's a great movie for kids for Halloween this year. Like,
yeah, it is. You know what? I have the DVD of the Toby Cooper one. I may have to show the kids that. At least the boy, I know he would love it. The girl probably wouldn't care. But yeah, I agree
Like,
with you.
Dad, this ain't even scary.
This ain't even scary. Or she was just like, I'm bored with this. I don't want to watch this.
Watch the opposite happens. The kid's like, I ain't watching this no more, and then she's all enthralled with it.
But
yep,
it
Life
great.
Force. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was just checking out was canon. But yeah, like that's why they like when you watch the special features on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's why they canon sent a guy down to Texas Chainsaw Massacre and just ripped pages out of the script because he was going over budget, and that was the same because of what happened with that because he was sort of working on them at the same time. So, yeah. But yeah, both movies are great. I think maybe it's because we saw the 80s version first.
Maybe.
And plus that was we can relate to that kid a little more at the 80s of our time than the 50s.
Could be,
kid.
but I don't really see anything as far as a difference other than just the way it's handled. And I will say that the 80s just had a way with remakes. This is maybe why I've never had such a knee-jerk reaction to remakes that most people do, unless it's something like Ghostbusters or something like, why are you remaking that already? Like, what?
Yeah.
No, because I mean, we grew up in the era of The Thing and the original Invaders, or the remake of Invaders from Mars, and some of the other remakes of the 80s, The Fly, and some of the other stuff that was just amazing in comparison to the originals.
Yeah. Hey, look at this. Tim Hayes, a member for 13 months. Thank you so very much, Tim Hayes. This is Hell Greg, Tom Connors, and Rook. What's up, man? Thank you. I appreciate all your support.
You don't want to know the 4-letter words I said the day I heard about the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, Chris. Toby Cooper died.
Yeah, that's what happened to him, Brad. I was about to say he's dead.
He worked pretty steadily up through his death, as far as I know. But yeah.
Oh, there's one I've been meaning to get from Kino for a while. With Mashkin Amok.
Didn't even remake one of his movies, Toolbox Murders, like
they did too long ago. Yeah.
Just before he died, but like
yeah, they cut out all the pervy stuff. So
of course,
yeah.
The original one was better than I thought it was going to be. I talked about that on here, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fuck your Best Buy.
Yeah.
All right, what you got first, Greg?
Okay. I'm going to start off with some of the ones I've already done sort of videos on my channel just to get them out of the way first. So I'm going to start off first with My Demon Lover.
I haven't got that one yet. Is it worth it?
I say it's highly worth it, especially since they put special features on there.
Whoa!
What? It's a new 2K scan from the Interpositive, so it's not the greatest scan, but it's the best I've seen the movie in fucking years. So I'm happy with it. So I'm cool with that. But it's got a brand new special feature, Dating is Hell, Making a Demon Lover, with Scott Valentine, the chick, Michelle Little, the director. And what's his name? Robert Trevor, who plays the bad guy. Awesome. It's got an interview with the special effects guy. It's got an interview with the scoring the movie. It's got the theatrical trailer and TV spot. So it's not huge special features, but thank God it's got special features. I was worried about that, especially after Flashback. So here's the inside.
Well, that's the thing is I have a thing, like a lot of these limited ones that I've gotten from Shout, I haven't been too happy with the movies.
Right.
So I've been really leery on which ones I get anymore. The only one I really, really, really liked a lot was the one with Dennis Hopper, where he was the oh, nice.
Yeah,
I like it. The Dennis Hopper one, the Space Truckers, was the only one of those that I've gotten so far that I really feel like it was worth it.
Yeah, that I was happy. I've been pretty happy with the double Roger Corman stripper double features, but there's not much on them. So
yeah, I didn't pick that one up. I did get Abraxas. I haven't watched it yet, but I think I seen that when I was younger.
Yeah,
there's been a couple of them, but I've been real leery about it. But I'm glad to hear it was worth it.
So wait, what is Demon Lovers about?
Okay. I'll tell you what it's about. You might like this one, Rookie. It's a hybrid romantic comedy horror movie, right? So I was also watching special features. So New Line Cinema, which made Freddy, they had just come off of Freddy, and they were looking for a new like genre film to do, and they had the script for it. It was a romantic comedy and a horror elements. So they hired the director, Charlie Loventhal, and they said, here, you take care of the romantic comedy stuff, and then we've already hired the special feature people and to come in and do the makeup and everything, the horror makeup. So what it is Scott Valentine, this guy, His name is Cass. He lives on the streets and everything. When he was a kid, when he was a teenager, he messed with the wrong girl, and her Romanian gypsy grandmother cursed him and put the devil in him, basically in his crotch. So every time he gets horny, he turns into a demon. So
I thought you were gonna say like a little demon voice comes out of the dick. I can.
No, he turns into like this. He like transforms into different various demons and stuff, and then it's basically Beauty and the Beast, honestly. And then the woman, she's like this woman in New York City, pretty girl. Can't understand why she's single. What, she's so perfect. What, she's ditzy and she's funny. She plays it well, and so it's like that's like the comedy bit. And she meets him, he meets her. He tries not to fall in love with her, but he does. And then meanwhile, in the background, there's a murder mystery going on. Somebody is going around town killing women. They're calling them the Mangler. So he thinks it's him because he turns into a demon every time he gets horny with her, and she doesn't want to believe it.
No, it's her.
No.
Okay.
This is but this is the 80s, man. The men were dudes and the chicks were chicks. So.
Okay. Just spitball.
Yeah. So that's basically it. Scott Valentine is great in the movie. This was supposed to be he was from the TV show Family Ties. It was supposed to be his big breakout movie, and it flopped. But it became a cult movie, and it's finally on Blu-ray, and I'm happy with it. I mean, the scan is not going to knock your socks off, but it's probably the best I've seen the movie. And considering the DVD was one of those Warner Brothers made-to-order DVDs, that was the only way it was available. That, or I think it might be on digital somewhere. But like if you ordered it on DVD, it was like they burned it to a disc and sent it out to you. So it's good. It's good quality. It's decent. It sounds all right. Some pretty good special features. So I'm happy to have it. And it's got some great practical effects in it, and some great little like horror bits, and some great romantic comedy. It blends very well. Maybe a little ahead of its time, but it's got that New Line Cinema feel. Like if you know what I'm talking about, like there's a certain feel with early New Line Cinema movies, like with Freddy, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, My Demon Lover. That it has a certain feel to it, so I love it. I love that. So yeah, that's my first pick of the night.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've always loved it. I saw it like on late night cable one night when I was a kid, and it's just like it's one of those movies that stick in your head, especially when you see like when you see a guy making out with this girl, and then all of a sudden his back starts bubbling up and popping, and his hair falls off, and he turns into this.
What year did that come out?
Guy. 1980. Looking in the back here, 87.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? That's my bro. What's up, brother? Yes, it's very campy, but we like the movie. We grew up on it, so. But yeah,
all right.
It's worth it. It's typically I would say, for $25, hold off. But this one I can say go for it because at least you get some special features. So.
Very good.
Yeah. So what's up, Rook? What's your next pick of the night?
Alrighty, for my next pick. This one, going for more. What I think it's confirmed you guys did not see this one yet, either of you. I mentioned it before, but I didn't have the DVD of it. I am picking Oblivion. This is like a very old-timey. It's like from the mid-90s, but it feels
Tom
like
Cruise ain't in that.
He's not. No, it's got they list them down here. It's got Andrew Divoff.
I know him.
Foster, Isaac Hayes,
Isaac Hayes,
Julie Newmar, George Takei. He's barely in it though. Carol Struycken. You could read that.
That's got actually some pretty cool people in it.
It's got an interesting cast for a very weird movie. It's like one where I'd go, this is a bad film, but I'm like compelled to watch it. I'm like, I guess this is one of those cult movies, but I never really watched cult movies. So I was just like,
he really is like a weird combination of Runner, me, and you, Tom. He really is.
Yeah, it's got so like the plot is like this lizard skin dude comes in called Red Eye, and he walks into this town, and it's like, oh no, what's going on? And well, there's also like another guy that kind of subverts you a little bit with it. You think he's going to be like the main antagonist guy or something, but then Red Eye's there. He's got his gang. He takes out the sheriff, and then you meet the sheriff's son at some point, and he's got like a Native American friend, and there's like night scorps that are these horrible claymation things, and there's like this robot chick or whatever that's up there. She's probably from something, I'm sure. It almost feels like she's pulled from Star Trek or something, like something along those lines. And it's just very odd. Like, it's got the night scorps and the thing that just look bizarre.
Was this a Sci-Fi Channel movie?
I don't know. It was on Amazon Prime. That's how I saw it. It was just like one. It's just one of the ones.
I recognize the cover, but I've never seen it.
It's got the chick from Mortal Kombat that's like, "And you shall die." It's got that chick in there. She's called Lash, and she's just like a dominatrix-looking chick in the Old West, but it's like space, and it's like, what the fuck is this going on here? The main guy that we follow, he's like not a telepath, an empath or something. They have like weird powers randomly. It is so weird. Some of the jokes are awful, but it's funny because it's awful. I recommend. I think you guys would love it. Like in one of those cult classic.
I have to check this one out. This one sounds interesting, and the cast. I can't believe the cast. And
yeah,
Andrew
I know,
Divoff
right?
is a Wishmaster, so I like him for. I mean, he's always been in cheesy bad movies. So
yeah, I mean, there's a sequel to it as well. It's also on Amazon Prime, I think, and I don't think it's as good as the first one. It's one of those ones that's like, oh, you made a second one for no reason really, and they're like acting immediately from the beginning, like, oh, look at our cast, we got our people back, huh? And it's just like, I don't know, it was kind of done before, but okay, I guess we have a second film. But you guys might be able to find something out of that I couldn't for the second film. But I recommend the first one. I think you guys would enjoy it. Oblivion. Oblivion, 1995. It actually says on here the cult classic. It says, I think it's 1995 or 1994. Because whenever you type in Oblivion, the Tom Cruise one always comes up in video games and stuff. So you got to be specific, and then it will come up. And yeah, I recommend it. What does the chat think?
I'm gonna have to check it out. Brian Barth, what's with all these obscure films I don't know about?
No, that's what I'm trying to do.
That's how we do. Rookie,
trying to find ones that y'all haven't seen.
Rookie person, he takes it as a challenge to try to find movies that me and Tom haven't seen. So he finds these weird movies like this. He legitimately does. Me, I just love obscure occult B movies. I did a whole video about it. I love them. But yeah, some people, Brandon Brad liked it. Ace Hanlon thinks it was shit. Maybe I don't remember.
No, like I said, it's kind of obviously, but then it's not. It's like one of those. If all cult classics are shit, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this goes right alongside cult classics. I don't know.
Oh, Full Moon has it on streaming. Oh, I have the Full Moon channel.
Yeah, so it should be on like Tubi. It should be on Prime. I think it's one of those like free to watch, pretty much anywhere. Freebie, all that stuff.
We got a fan, Random Brad. I love Random Brad. He likes your stuff, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I've never heard of it ever. It's just
good. Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm surprised Tom hasn't been as familiar with this one. This seems like right up Tom's alley to me. Like I thought this was like a made for Tom film.
I mean, like I said, I remember seeing the cover at some point, but I don't think I've ever seen the actual movie.
Does it sound like something you'd check out, or like just no?
Maybe.
Check out the trailer for it. They do it like one of those ones where it's like, we're in space and it's in the Old West, sort of. It's in the year 3031. Look at this thing. Look at that thing. Whoa. Whoosh, a whip sound or something. And just like, it's just like, oh, it's look at this fun. Whoa, wasn't that cool? Night Scorps, look out. Like,
I've seen the whole movie now. So
it seems like it's made for you. No, you have to experience the dialogue and the funny lines. It's again, like I can't say it's like good, but it's like I liked it, and it's bad but good in a different way than DOA, in a very different way. If that makes sense. You guys will understand. This might make more sense the more movies I talk about with how I give them praise or not. You guys will kind of get my parameters here and how I rate stuff.
Well, it's going to be an adjustment. People, some people just really, actually, truly liked Runner, so it will be an adjustment. But I think people warm up to you. You're doing so good. You're doing good so far tonight, so I'm happy with it. And you're picking stuff that we've never heard of, so I'm definitely going to check that out because that sounds like something I would watch.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Especially if it's on full moon. I love full moon, so that sounds like something I will watch.
I didn't mean right this minute.
Yeah.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Your random rat says, yeah, that's it. Bad, but good. Like, that's, like, I don't know how to describe, because again, DOA is kind of like that too, but they're in a very different way. Because it's like DOA is like trying to be action-packed and sexualized and fighting moves. It's a martial arts tournament. Wow, boom, bang, boom. As for this is like, look at us in the sci-fi, like for the sci-fi equivalent of that kind of thing, I guess. Sci-fi / Western equivalent of that kind of thing.
All right. Well, I'm
sure there's a word for it. I'm just not as versed to know what to call these ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Space Western.
Yeah.
Same thing. But I will look into that one because I have never heard that one, and that sounds to be like something I would watch. So I would definitely check it out.
Joey says it's like Clint Howard in Space Rangers 1993 with Linda Hunt, CSI LA before CSI LA. I have no idea what any of those things are, so I have no
idea. You'll learn, rookie. You'll learn.
And now I've lost a point.
Oh, but yeah, this says, like I said, I have to check it out. I have a bit of a thing with full moon, so yeah. So I'll check it out. Sounds interesting. Tom, if you're ready, we'll move to you.
All right. Well, I've got an import. Speaking of, it is a interesting movie that is debated hotly. It is a Jean-Claude Van Damme classic, the one that put him on the map, Bloodsport, and it's the 4K edition. And this comes from, who was it? It wasn't Studio Canal, it was Cape Light. And it's a fairly decent transfer. Now, I do have an old Blu-ray of it with Time Cop.
Yeah, I got that.
You have to have it by itself, obviously. Yes.
Well, and I mean, this is not the worst transfer in the world, but this is leaps and bounds better.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of special features on here you obviously don't get on the other disc as well, including an interview with like Van Damme and kind of like a making of the movie kind of thing, just interviews and stuff. But no, it's and talking about it being a canon classic, for instance. A whole bunch of cool stuff on here for what it is. It's a really nice digibook set here. It even has like a picture on the other side of the L card or the OB card or the J card, whatever people want to call it. And the book itself feels like an actual book. It's got a nice picture on the back too there. And then, of course, one disc's on the one side, and you get a bunch of stuff in here.
Oh, wow. Sorry. I don't think I've seen a disc case that has something like that.
Yeah, and then I haven't tried
Brooke.
This might be one where the Blu-ray might be region locked. I'm not 100% sure, but the 4K isn't, obviously. But no. But I believe that was it didn't matter anyway because the special features are on the 4K, which is always a bonus as well.
Oh, that's a nice.
That's always a nice thing. Yes, has a nice Dolby Atmos remix on it. Nothing to really write home about, but it's nice just the same. Now the big debate about the movie is about it being bullshit or not.
You mean Frank Dukes was a liar?
Yeah,
Frank Dukes.
Well, it's debated. I mean, there is some proof that supports some of his claims. Yeah. Some of his claims are very fucking salacious. And most of the time in court, he doesn't win. But at the same time, when you hear about who he is and the way he talks and carries himself and talks about himself, it's almost like Van Damme is the only person on earth who can play him because he's the only person who might not be who is very full of himself, but just not quite as full of himself as Frank Dukes. That's about it.
It's true. It's true. For those who don't know, Rookie, do you know anything about Bloodsport?
I know that Johnny Lawrence watched it in Cobra Kai.
Yes, it's a Johnny Lawrence favorite. That's true.
It is on. It's on my list. It's on my list to watch at some point.
It's also former President Trump's favorite movie, or one of his favorite films.
Really? Wow.
In fact, yeah, he had a copy on Air Force One. Yes, and his private plane before that.
Yeah, Bloodsport's on my list, but it's kind of like lower, like around where Rocky is and stuff. That whole series, like. not of ranking. I'm just saying of when I'm going to watch them.
Wow. First of all,
I can't believe you said that. Oh, like Rocky on the lower list.
Oh no.
Okay, you can be subjective about Rocky all day, but don't compare Rocky to Bloodsport.
No, I'm not. It's literally they are fighting.
I get it. They're sports films, but you've got like Rocky's way up here. Bloodsport somewhere down here.
No, I mean, Bloodsport's a great movie, but yeah, Rocky, you can't.
You're talking Oscar caliber versus damn near straight to video caliber.
It's literally just when I was looking up movies to watch one day, I put them just like they're just kind of lower on my list. That's just, they're not ones I'm eager to watch right now. There's plenty of others that are ahead.
No, Bloodsport is one of those movies. It's good. It's fun. It's a great beer movie.
Yeah.
Like you get together with your buddies, beer and pizza and movie. Most people are
bro out. Stuff.
Yeah. But as far as like, is it got good acting? Fuck no. Are the action sequences cool? Yes, but that's just because these guys knew how to shoot this shit.
It says Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Yeah, and it's one of his earliest films, so it has some of his worst acting in it.
I'm trying to actually think if I've seen a Jean-Claude film. The most thing I know about him is that he had a huge beef with Jason David Frank when he was around back in the day. They had there's a lot of beefs for some reason.
He has a beef with everybody.
About who would beat each other in a fight, which is interesting to me because I liked Jason David Frank and I did.
He looks in the mirror and he has a beef with himself.
Like they almost got in a fight. They almost got in a fight at like a Comic-Con thing or something. Like his posse surrounded JDF's area or something and was like getting in his grill and they almost had a little fight, but they didn't. And it's like, okay, wow, that's
you looking at?
Extent. And then I know Jean-Claude because he's like one of the comedians that I watched at one point was like imitating the trailer guy that's like Jean-Claude Van Damme and whatever fighting movie or something. He's like he was one of those fighting guys. One of those old fighting guys.
Every single Jean-Claude Van Damme movie ever.
No, that's the point. He's the fighting guy. Like who else is the fighting guy? Jackie Chan isn't even in like that because he's funny too. So
I do wish I had that Del Gerbil pocket sand thing because that's a great use of pocket sand in that movie. Pocket sand. For me, Brian Barth is Rocky. I mean, Raging Bull's a great movie. It's
discount Rocky.
but Rocky for me, which is better? Rocky is better for me. So, but I mean, yeah. Bloodsport, you got to see Bloodsport, Rookie, because it is freaking fun regardless.
Yeah, again, so it's like I'm probably gonna.
One of the cheesiest soundtracks too.
That's probably something I'd watch like maybe a year or two from now. I'm in no rush to watch it though. There's plenty of other ones that are just ahead of it for me because like it's just another. I've seen, regardless of like me not seeing Rocky yet, I've seen enough boxing movies where it's like, okay, I just need some time away before I go back to boxing movies because it's fine, but it's not my favorite sport genre of things. So I don't know. Need a little time away from it.
Okay. But yeah, I'm glad. So the picture quality looks good on that one. On the 4K, Tom.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it looks like it comes from the original negative. I would assume somebody's going to do this in the US before too long, but at the same time, there was like I think 3 or 4 different versions of this as far as like the box art.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you might want to grab it before it goes out of print, but because I don't know what would be carried over to the US version if there is one. But then again, being that it's done by some Cape Light studio, which is probably going to be done by like Kino Lorber or something like that over here, maybe.
Yeah,
I would imagine. or shout.
Yeah. So that's the good thing about 4K, though, Rook. If you don't know, is like all 4Ks are region free to begin with. Period. So you can ship them from across this pond or to the pond, however you want.
Like I said, I've even had a movie, like I had a version of King Kong where the movie itself was not locked, but the special features were.
Wow.
I shit you not.
What horrible luck. What horrible luck.
Like, what the fuck?
Weird. But Kumite. Yeah, Media Archive mic is in my head now too.
Hold on, I was just thinking. So you flashed a little bit of like some pages that were in the case, in the DVD case. So are those just like pictures, or is that like a story, or like what?
No,
what is that?
It's like there's some production photos. Like the centerfold is like that. But no, it's like the genesis of the story.
Okay,
so
like
it's got
some like extra. So it's in a way kind of like behind the scenes or extra info on the film.
Just stuff about the movie.
I've never heard of that being a thing in like a movie case.
Rook.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of digibooks.
Yeah,
confused by that. When you said digibook, I did my stupid young mind and went Digimon book.
Like first got the thing about like Van Damme, and all that kind of stuff. And
Rook's going to learn a lot on this.
Here's the thing that I read about where they talk about Trump. It says he had it on his private plane and on Air Force One, but him and his son like to watch it, but they usually skip to the fight scenes.
That's funny. That's actually really funny.
Yeah, so there's just some stuff in there like that, and it just makes it look nice and presentable. But what I really like is the rigid and the way that feels.
I like that.
It's called
it feels like a real book. Yeah, they're referred to as digibooks. And I got quite a few of them.
Yeah,
I would have had another one this week, but I didn't get Princess Bride watched. That one came in a digibook too.
I've been meaning to get that one. But I love Darren Blackwood's comment. Strangely, Rocky is more of a real life story than this was.
I will tell you a bit of a preview on the Criterion Princess Bride 4K. It may have the special features that are not on other versions, but you don't get the original 2.0 soundtrack on it. That is only on the German import that I have. And I haven't checked into the special features part. They may be exactly the same, but Turbine did the import that I got. And it's the same scan. Same exact scan. So if you already have the import and you don't give a shit about the special features, then don't waste your money.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you already have the Blu-ray, because I think Criterion put it on Blu-ray before.
Yeah.
I'll when I get to it, I'll cross-reference everything. But yeah, because it's a pricey 4K Blu-ray. It's like a $40.
Yeah, that's why I didn't quite pull the trigger on it just yet. So
I'd wait for a half-price sale. Yeah.
That's what I was waiting on, the Criterion 50% off sale that they do. But if you're ready to move on, I'll go on to me for my next pick. Okay. I have Sleepy Hollow with Tim Burton.
I got that too. Speaking of digibooks, did you get the digibook version?
Yes, I did. This is the awesome steelbook. Here you go, Runner.
I watched a few minutes of it. Yeah, it has the original story of Sleepy Hollow in there.
Story Hollow. It's the Story Hollow. Sleepy Hollow. So it's the actual book. Here you go, Rook, and then there's a Blu. I don't like that the Blu-ray and 4K are stacked on each other. I hate the stacking.
I don't either, but they improved it that it's a steelbook because I have the old version of that. It's exactly the same from the old Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And it's in like a tag board kind of cover, and it's not as sturdy.
Yeah.
So I like that they changed over to the steelbook style.
Me too. I do like it. I did watch the movie. Some of it does look a little too polished. But it's probably one of the better Paramount scans I've seen in a while. So at least it doesn't look all weird, like the planes, trains, and automobiles and all that. Some of it, certain scenes look polished, other scenes look pretty good. So it's pretty good 4K. So it's a classic movie. The only part like of this Sleepy Hollow that I never really liked, that I thought maybe bogged it down a little bit, was the weird dreams he has about his mom and all that. I thought that was kind of pointless. I mean, I get what it was leading to with like the comparisons between her and Christina Ricci and all that. I get it and all that, but it was just like, I think that really could have been cut out of the movie. personally. But I like the movie. The movie holds up. It's still weird. It's still very Tim Burton. It's still got some of that creepy factor. Still got a great cast. Johnny Depp is basically doing his Johnny Depp thing where he plays the awkward, bumbling type of guy. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad, and it's a pretty nice steelbook. I dig the steelbook. So yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. See, Rook, you'll see more stuff like this as the show goes on with books and stuff inside of the thing.
It's really funny. I feel like I'm gonna have to like do some research on what all these DVD cases are, because I'm just like, what? Stuff. I'm like, I just have a DVD case. Like, what else?
Now that's a Digibook Steelbook.
Yes,
like,
this is a Digibook Steelbook.
I just buy a DVD, and sometimes it has those little flaps on.
That's
the side
actually a hybrid.
Like,
yes,
the most advanced.
This is metal.
The most advanced I've had is like those ones with the little like lock things on the side that help the case from not being opened as easily. Like, that's like the most cases have done for me before.
Now, if I remember right, I think that movie also has the distinction of being the only R-rated Tim Burton movie, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think you're right. Apparently I did call you Runner, so people were telling me.
Here you go, Runner. Yeah, yeah. But actually, what's funny, I didn't even hear that. I just rolled with it because I know you're referring to me anyway. So
yeah, it's going to happen. I'm going to call you Runner. I am old, and it's 3 years with the same kid, so it's going to happen.
I'm used to dealing with old people, so it's okay. We got a balance here. We're good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a pretty good Tim Burton movie. I do believe it's one of his only rated R movies. It's got the blood. It's got Christopher Walken is great as the Headless Horseman. Darth Maul.
Walken's the Headless Horseman?
Yeah, he's the Headless Horseman with the head.
Why didn't people ever tell? Now I kind of do want to see that.
Oh, you got when he
that was never really on my list.
When Christopher Walken is out with the
Headless Horseman.
Sounds great.
I'm gonna throw my head at you.
I gotta see that now. You're talking about this. I'm like, okay,
crazy asshole.
You say Christopher Walken. I'm like, wait, hold the fuck on. What?
Why are you in my field?
This guy, that I would never see him as the character like
I'm
that.
a legend.
That's great.
He's creepy. He plays it great. He doesn't talk at all in the movie. His teeth are filed to points.
Why would I talk? I don't have a head.
I might watch that this year before this year's over, just because
I'm a method actor, so I took my head off for the role. I can't talk.
You gotta see
You'll love it.
Impossible.
But the Headless Horseman, actually, when he's walking around without the head, that's Darth Maul. That's Ray Parks.
Yeah.
Ray Parks is his body the whole movie until the head comes on. Or in flashbacks.
So I'm in it for like 2 seconds. Easiest $500,000 I ever made.
Does the body do a bunch of acrobatic stuff like Ray Park tends to do?
Oh yeah.
No, but I think what's better is he's not even that tall, right? Like that's the beauty of it. So he can like kind of fit in the. It looks good. It's been years since I've seen this movie. I have not watched it yet. I threw it in just to kind of peep it. And I'm like, all right, looks all right.
Yeah, it don't look too bad.
So I haven't got a chance to watch it though.
You just said peep it, and your name is Tom. That was just funny. Yes.
No, I usually do that. Just throw a movie in just to kind of look at it, and if it catches me, then I'll watch the whole thing. But it just depends on what it is.
Cool.
It's a good. I enjoy it. I always like the movie. It's that time of year. Well, it's always that time of year for me because I always kind of watch spooky crap all the time. But it's like I'm feeling the Halloween spooky season coming in. It really plays well. Really plays well with that, like Flaming Pumpkins, the Headless Horseman, Sleepy Hollow, Leaves on the Ground, dark and creepy, goofy, Tim Burton. It works.
I'm gonna pumpkin bomb the hell out of you.
I would have loved to see him talk in the movie like that. I'd be like, hey, you come to Sleepy Hollow.
I am.
and you want to take my head and
don't do that.
I'm
a fucking legend.
What's the opposite of Christopher Walken? Christopher Reeves.
That's
too
soon.
That's still that. Well, wait. Why is that a one? Do you not get that one?
I do. We got it.
Yeah. Okay. I stole that from a DBZ abridged.
The what?
What? Never mind. That's out of your realm.
Abridged?
Don't even bother. It's out of your guys. You guys don't watch it.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
But Brent Bart says Brando was considered as the headless horseman, which I didn't know that. I don't think it would have worked because they'd have to do the CGI like de-aging before it was even exist back then. Plus, he was like really big, wasn't he?
Yeah. I'm a spirit.
So the headless horseman would be panting pretty much with the
the horse wouldn't be able to carry his fat ass at that point. Fucking Brando was pushing like 400 plus pounds at that point. Like,
exactly.
No, so have you seen him in the score? Oh my god,
he was huge.
What's worse is he was refusing to wear pants, man.
Wasn't that on Island of Dr. Moreau too? He wouldn't wear pants.
No, would not wear pants. Well, he couldn't get the sumbitches on, I bet.
Exactly.
Like, why bother? It takes me just as long to get them on as it does to get them off. As soon as I get them on, I'm taking them off.
Oh, it's insane.
I can't reach my feet.
They would not have been able to call him the headless horseman. There would have been no horse, and it would have just been like slowly walking the whole movie, just like creeping up on people.
Posey.
It would have been bad. It would have been horrible.
I think he's dead.
Anybody got a stick of butter?
Butter.
I don't eat butter. Butter's bad for you.
Oh, I got that. Even though we ain't got a super chat, but I got that. Where's that at?
Talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. What about buttered sausage?
That's not your jam. It's not your thing. You don't like it?
I don't eat jam.
It's not my jam. I don't buy jam. I buy honey, and I kiss it on the lips.
Kiss your lips. I seen the guy who made that video.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
That's probably his best deep fake he's done. The rest of them don't.
I know somebody who got fooled by it too. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
There was one I was wanting to clip from that too. He's like, where he goes, we used to buy nunchucks back in the day from Chinatown. Of course, you get hit in the head, you go numfuck. And the way he did it, it was hilarious the way he said it. I got to see that. I
swallowed a bug.
I swallowed a bug. It was perfect. He's like, you had me sitting back in the back for 2 hours. I don't know where the fuck we was going to do this.
Have you ever spread peanut butter on your hind end and ran through a field of the night naked?
Oh, he nailed him. But yeah, Sleepy Hollow, this is a good movie.
I did that once and I got fucked by a bear. It was amazing.
Best sex I ever had.
Greatest sexual experience of my life.
Now he just went, piss on the Indians.
You don't understand love until you've had the love of a grizzly bear.
Chat, you're right. I need an adult.
What happened to Brando? He was 400 pounds living in a flea bag house, like apartment or
and his
whatever.
kids let him dry and shit. Yeah, it
his
was
son and everything.
He was basically doing movies at the end and just to pay off his son's shit. Basically, it was a mess. Yeah,
it was bad. All right, what do you got for us, Rookie? What's your third pick of the night here?
All right, my third pick is one I just saw for the first time recently called Haunter.
No,
another obscure
weird
one
movies.
for you guys. Well, you, Tom?
Nope.
No.
But
Not
Abigail Breslin. It looks like an IFC movie. Okay.
It's an IFC movie. Abigail Breslin, from Zombieland and Ender's Game and stuff. I'm reading the back because it says that. Director Vincenzo Splice and Cube. It says that. I didn't look at the director until now.
That guy.
That guy. Vincent, sure. I know him.
Yeah, no, so this one's I think is an actual good one to check out. I don't want to give too much away about it because as you watch it, you have a lot of questions, you get some things answered, and then more questions kind of come about. One of the quotes, and this is kind of what I describe it as too, is a clever supernatural take on Groundhog Day. There's some like time loop things that goes on with this, and there's stuff that you recognize about it that's supernatural. There's a subversion to the supernatural type of element that is a good twist, I think. I don't know if it's been done before because I haven't seen everything like you guys have. You guys might go, this was like in a movie from before. Pish posh. I don't know.
I mean, there's Happy Death Day, which is Groundhog's Day, supernatural, relive over and over, slasher killer movie.
I guess so, but it's not. This isn't a slasher killer movie though. It's more of like a haunted kind of one, but it's not just like random ghosts. There's a lot of clues that are throughout the film that like lead to. You can kind of pick up on things that might be important in some way as it goes. I really liked the twist when she takes out the Ouija board. I'm not the horror fan that as you guys are. I'm still breaking it in. I'm still feeling my way around it. And this one did a pretty good job on like getting me interested where I want to see it again. And I got the DVD. Like I liked it so much. I've got the DVD of it because it's free to watch still anyway. And I want to see the special features that have commentary with the director, the writer. It's got behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, I just kind of want to see more about what went into making this film because I think it was really good. It's like a 90-minute one, a little bit over 90 minutes. And like I said, I don't want to talk too much about the plot because I think it's worth seeing and watching it, discovering it as it goes. If I read the blurb on the description, it gives away so much. I can't do that. It's like I'm really kind of annoyed it's on here. I was going to read it, but like that gives away a lot of details that get revealed like as it goes that you can kind of start with the mystery as it goes. So I recommend this one more than the other two. The other two are fun, bad movies. This, I think, is a good movie to check out, especially if you like horror stuff. It's not slasher horror. It's not gore horror, but still in that type
Looks like a spin-off of Supernatural.
It's literally nothing like Supernatural.
Like the cover makes it look like a spin-off.
Yeah, the cover's that cover.
From the makers of Supernatural.
I've seen Supernatural. It has nothing.
I get that. Just looking at the cover, though, the cover looks like a spin-off of Supernatural.
That's fine, yeah, but I'm just clarifying.
Like their kid's sister or something.
I could see what you mean, but no, it's nothing like that.
She talks to ghosts.
No, it's...
and solves mysteries.
Yeah,
Ricky's like, no, this is a good movie.
It is a good movie. And I want to know who else has seen it so I can talk about it.
It's Super Natalie.
I want to talk about it with some people because I don't know anybody who's seen it yet. And it's one of those ones that's like, does that mean it's bad? No, I just think it's just under the radar. Nobody knew about it. When it's IFC, I assume it wasn't a theater release. Maybe I don't know.
They have their own theaters, I think, or something like that, and then they just put them on their channel or whatever. But yeah.
It's limited run. Doesn't look like anybody in the chat that's seen it, but you're hitting the runner thing with Random Brad because he says that's on my list of stuff to watch. What the fuck is going on here? So like that happens with Runner with us sometimes. He would like bring up stuff after we talked about it an hour earlier. So
that's good. Well, I'm proud that I'm picking ones that are just like, not as obvious. You guys haven't heard of them. You guys haven't seen them. It might be ones that the chat wants to check out because I imagine y'all have seen almost everything. So when I can pick ones that you haven't, that is my goal every time.
To be honest, here now. Typically in 2000s movies, especially like from middle 2000 horror movies on up, I probably haven't seen a lot of them because I don't.
This was like 2009, I think, somewhere around there, 2006, 2009, somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of modern horror too much. So, but I'll look into it.
I'd say it's more. It's like mystery and horror, like whatever. Because like it says, it's familiar. It's similar to Groundhog Day in that there's like a time loop kind of a thing, but there's the different elements that add to it that I think make it interesting. It's not just like, oh, it's trying to be a horror film here. There's a mystery, and some of it is kind of. I think I've already said enough, so I recommend it.
Those were okay. I'll look into it. I'll check that one out and the Oblivion movie out because the Oblivion movie really got me. I want to see that.
Okay,
I'll check that out. But yes. Cool.
And Haunter is, I think, on Tubi TV right now too. If people wanted to see it, so.
Yeah.
Yep. He's got it.
All right. Cool. Tom, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. This next one I got here's a hint.
The Kraken?
Godzilla?
Well, sort of. Gorgo. You're correct. It is America's answer to Godzilla, Gorgo.
What?
On 4K, and I did not know this was a Vinegar Syndrome release until after I got it, or I would have got it through Vinegar Syndrome because I didn't get the fancy.
Yeah, you didn't
box
get the
or nothing.
case.
Yeah, I know it's kind of pissy after the fact, but I'm like, whatever. I watched it. It's all right. It's not bad. It's got some interesting. It's an interesting American take on Godzilla, pretty much.
I didn't know we had one. I thought that I was gonna say Matthew Broderick.
Little did you know.
Say Brendan Fraser version, but yeah, the Matthew Broderick version.
It's more or less a Godzilla ripoff, but yeah.
Imagine if Brendan Fraser was in a Godzilla movie.
Now, sadly, I didn't get a real chance to watch much of the special features on here, but no, it's a good-looking print. It does come from the negative, okay. Like I say, I don't know if all of it comes from the negative. Like, some of the special effects on here are really bad. Really bad. I do get the poster thing, though. See, I got like this.
Oh, you got the poster thing?
Yeah, it comes with it. Shows you Gorgo's insides.
Whoa.
Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, this was released, like 5 years after Godzilla, I think it was.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. So, it doesn't. Part of it sometimes feels like a 50s movie. Sometimes it feels like a 70s movie. So, part of me thinks maybe some of this was ahead of its time with some of its special effects because they're not all horrible, but they're using like earlier green screen type stuff and other kind of optical effects where stuff is bleeding through still and stuff like that. So it doesn't always look the best, but no, I can recommend it. It's got a reversible art as well on the cover. I didn't show that, did I?
No.
Let's see here. So this is the one I use. This is the old poster art, and then it had this on it, which is nice, but
the old poster art though looks better. Yeah.
So no, I for the price, I don't know if I can recommend it, but it's definitely a fun time, and especially for Godzilla or kaiju fans or monster movie fans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty basic, similar to Godzilla, but it's funny you mentioned the 1990s remake because it almost feels like at times like Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin watched this movie more than they did Godzilla, because there's a couple things in here that Godzilla remake seems to borrow, but not a lot, just a small smidgen of things.
Does it have a lot of fish?
No, I could spoil it, but it is like the really real interesting twist in the movie. But,
is there a worm guy that has to show down with the?
No, basically you find out that there's a baby, and the one we have at the beginning is the baby, and the mom comes later on. So it's
if
kind
you
of
phrase it right, it could sound really funny, like giant monster. They try to kill it, but turns out it was pregnant.
Well, it's the opposite though. You find out that the first monster that attacks was just the baby. So there's a big one coming.
You killed the baby. You struggled to kill that thing, and now you got a bigger monster on the way. I got you.
Yeah. So there's technically 2 Gorgos, but yeah.
I haven't seen Gorgo in forever. It's been a long time.
It's the Punisher Godzilla, basically.
Yeah,
you killed my family.
I could totally see, now you think about it, I could totally see the 98 Godzilla kind of ripping that one off.
If only the Punisher had a son that was a murderer killing everybody, I guess, right? Like, or is the monster a nice monster, and then everybody attacks it anyway? No, probably not.
Bart, that's a loaded question. What is the best Godzilla movie? It just really depends on your Godzilla taste, I guess. I haven't seen a whole lot, so I can't really pick one, but I know I like the 85 Godzilla movie. I like that one. I like the original Godzilla, the very first movie. So that's like my 2 favorites. So go ahead.
Are any of the new ones in your top 5 of Godzillas?
I mean, they're good. They're decent movies, but I wouldn't
say that. I'd say the first of the new Godzilla ones is at least a better attempt than any of the sequel ones they tried to do with the King Ghidorah and the King Kong. Those are so silly.
I like Godzilla vs. Kong.
The Breaking Bad one, because I don't remember if that one had an actual title anymore.
Godzilla
2014 or whatever. That one was okay. I think I haven't seen it since then, since it's in theaters. But
yeah, it's the new ones are
usually never on people's top list though. So it's just
no, they're not. I mean, I think Kong vs Godzilla was probably the best of the newer ones. But yeah, that's
I guess in a goofy way. I guess
I like all of them. The only one I had an issue with really was I didn't like how we shift in 2014 from the dad into the kid and whatnot, because I was like, I don't give a shit about them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the only other part I didn't like was in the King of the Monsters with the subplot with the mother. It was just pointless.
Oh god, yeah.
So,
or they didn't really have to have her in on it. They just could have had it been like these terrorist guys are forcing her to turn the machine on. That would have made more sense.
You can have human plots in these stuff, but don't have it be so lame that it's
and overpowering. Yeah, and that was the problem with those. Yeah.
Well, it's like so with the King Kong one, like okay, that one was so bizarre.
That was a little bit better. And then
I would like was the whole King Kong like family thing and the like Astro Axe thing like. Is that part of like lore with it, or is that
not really
made up for this? Like
that was just more or less made up for this. But I didn't mind that shit, and I liked how Godzilla versus Kong at least kind of minimized the human element as much as possible. And if you've seen any of the old Godzilla movies, they're just chock full of weird nonsense. So
yeah,
I guess I feel like there's a different bar of weird nonsense though by comparison.
Monarch is almost like paying homage to like this organization that was in the old Godzilla movies that was always seemingly advanced, and there was even aliens at some points and shit.
Well, I feel like back then there was more of a charm to its stuff, as to where now there's more cringe, is how I'd kind of phrase it.
I could see that, but I mean,
there's a difference between charm and cringe.
I like how they've balanced kind of some of the goofiness mixed with making it a bit more grounded, I guess, for lack of a better word.
In these new ones, I would say they're not grounded at all.
Then you haven't seen some of the older
Godzilla movies. You can tell, they've seen older ones.
They made like a spaceship.
Have you seen like Power Rangers and all that kind of stuff?
I grew up on Power Rangers.
Okay, yeah, like Godzilla is even goofier than some of that shit. Like you've got Godzilla doing some weird shit and like.
Okay.
Like he'll fly and stuff. It's just weird. They get into some wacky places with some of the later Godzilla films. There's only a handful of films. Like the later stuff is the first couple films, and then the later stuff is when they actually took Godzilla seriously. Everything in the middle is just a hodgepodge of weird nonsense. Like when I said they bring in aliens and shit, I'm not kidding. Like they bring in some weird shit.
I can believe you. Don't they have like a Power Ranger team up with them, like a giant one?
I don't know, but the way they shoot the Power Ranger stuff is very similar to Godzilla.
Yeah, the Zord fights are very similar. The guys in costumes and the miniature sets and the same.
They're all part of the same.
They have the same type of
Godzilla beat Ultraman at one point in time. So
Ultraman, that's how I was thinking of. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, so I mean,
I feel like there's a charm to those type of effects at the time and a style to it that makes it, even if it's corny to some people or something, there is a value to that. In like a time capsule, and sometimes looks better than some CGI that they try to do sometimes. So, but the new CGI is pretty good in the newer ones. I'll say that it doesn't look horrible.
They fly now.
They slide on their tails.
Yeah, I gotta say Godzilla -1 looks good.
It does.
Looks good. Yeah,
like a new one coming out.
Yeah, and that's not. Yeah. That's actually.
That's a Toho one. Yeah,
Toho Japanese one. So.
Gojira -1.
Gojira. I still need to see Shin's on Godzilla. A lot of people.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's one I need.
It's not what you'd expect. It's not your typical Godzilla movie, because the whole movie, Godzilla is just more or less. The basic plot is the same as the original Godzilla. Only in this one, Godzilla keeps mutating, and the whole movie's kind of an analogy for the meltdown, like 20 years ago or whatever it was. Fukushima or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it's more about that kind of shit, because it's kind of almost a satire at the same time, because what you have is the government constantly making meetings trying to figure out how to deal with Godzilla while Godzilla is just destroying everything. So they literally are like making meetings to have a meeting. Like that's kind of the joke. So like the whole time you keep cutting between what Godzilla's doing, and he's like he's just kind of worming his way through the land, and then he starts to grow arms, and legs and shit, and and then he starts to be able to breathe and all this other, like, keeps mutating and closer to what we know of Godzilla, all while the government's just fucking around.
Just doing nothing. What do we do? Let's make a meeting to make a meeting about it.
We need to have a meeting. We need to get a committee together. Let's have a meeting.
He just destroyed the city around us.
We already lost Tokyo kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
We have the rest of the planet, so we'll be okay.
That makes sense. That'd probably be a good watch then. That makes sense.
I mean, the first time you see it, you're just kind of like, what? It's kind of dry for the first run, but then if you know what it is kind of a satire of or whatever you're commenting on, then yeah. As far as old school, I definitely recommend the first few films, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Returns, King Kong versus Godzilla is pretty good. After that's where they start getting a little goofy. And then you can come back during, like, Godzilla 85 is really good. Everything beyond that is a little bit more grounded Godzilla.
Yeah.
And Godzilla 1985 kind of picks up like it's a sequel to the original film anyway.
Yeah, from like 85 until like near the end of the 80s was when Godzilla was like
all the way up through the 90s, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't like a Toho. I don't think it was Toho, was it?
No, it was always Toho.
Was it always Toho? I just wondered it was somebody else running it at a certain point in time.
No, it was always Toho. The only time it was different was when Columbia bought the rights and they did the remake or whatever in 98. Okay.
But yeah, like the 80s into the 90s were really good Godzilla movies. So.
How would you guys describe the Godzilla franchise? Because it sounds like there's a bunch of random movies, but then some are part of the same universe, and then others are.
They technically are all kind of, well, there's like eras. So you can go by the eras, and basically everything is kind of a launch pad off the first film. Up until the last two, like Godzilla, Shin Godzilla and -1 are like completely on their own. But like you can see like the first film and then jump to like Godzilla 1985 or jump to, I believe, I can't remember the final era, but that was in like the 2000s or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless that was still part of the 85 era, because there's like the Heisei era and the thing that separates them is how serious they are, basically. Because then the ones from the 60s and 70s are the ones that are the really goofy kid kind of friendly Godzilla movies. And then the other stuff is a bit more serious. Because then they started taking him a lot more serious in the 80s and 90s. So
Okay.
And then the US ones, Warner Brothers and Legendary, of course, are responsible for the 2014 and Kong Skull Island and all that shit. Yeah.
Did they make like spin-off solo movies of like other monsters in their own films without Godzilla?
Mothra, I think Mothra got its own.
Yeah, Mothra got one.
Because I swear, like Mongo's Big Thinks at one point. I don't remember if I still have the movie or if I just tripped this out or something. He sent me something that was like Mecha King Kong as well. Is that like
well, that was the thing. They did buy the rights to King Kong to do King Kong versus Godzilla, and that was the third Godzilla film. And then they did King Kong Escapes. And Mecha King Kong is in that one, I believe. And then they did a TV series, which was basically a spin-off of King Kong Escapes.
Oh, wow. Didn't they do a Godzilla animation, too?
Yep. But yeah, basically, once you get past the 80s, all those are a bit more grounded and serious.
Yeah.
Do you guys prefer more grounded and serious or the more goofy? I feel like you can kind of like both. There's different.
To me, what you should do, if anything, you watch like the first handful of the original ones, because up through, I mean, Godzilla versus Kong, Monster Zero or Ghidorah, whatever you want to call it, and Mothra. Some of the earlier Godzilla films are not so bad. Once you start getting to like All Monsters Attack or whatever it is, and all that kind of stuff, when they start getting the goofy shit with the kid and baby Godzilla and Godzuki or whatever and all that shit. Then it starts going off the rails a bit. And then, like I said,
I saw one with the Asian.
Pretty much all the 70s ones are the ones that you probably would really be like, okay, I cannot watch this shit.
Possibly. Now, honestly, I honestly have like almost no interest in watching Godzilla. Not that I think it's bad or anything, but just compared to all these other films and series that I want to watch, like Godzilla is not even really. He hasn't touched my list yet. Like. I've seen some stuff, and I feel like that's enough already. And it's like, if I want to watch something, like you said, this kind of Power Ranger-esque, that's in that realm, I guess.
Yeah.
But
well, like, I mean, if you want some of the more goofier Power Ranger type style stuff, then you might like the 70s era. But
Maybe,
like RJ says there, you got the Showa era, which was 54 to 75, the Heisei era, which was 84 to 95, the Millennium era, which is 99 to 04, and the Reiwa era, which is 2015 to present. But like the thing is like the original film is also relevant in the 84 to 95 era, and I believe in the 99 to 04 era, if I'm not mistaken. So like it's still part of that era. Like, I mean, those are just kind of like reboots, basically, if that makes sense. You know, kind of like how they did H2O and then they did Halloween 2018. Kind of the same thing. They still consider the first film canon, but then they jump off of that first film into a whole new.
Seems to be what a lot of series do. They like keep the first film as that was canon. Everything else, though, not this time, or something. When they reboot stuff.
That's funny because my next pick is it's very similar. So
All right, let's see what you got.
All right,
I finally watched Texas Chainsaw 3D, which was written by my adult friend Adam Marcus.
Oh, so you got is that one of the ones that Walmart put out in those fancy new? Oh, okay,
yeah.
Does it have the 3D version in there, even though you can't watch it?
It says contains both the standard version and 3D version.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just a reprint of the same disc.
Yeah, actually, it's the same. It's just a fancy slipcover. It's the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the same exact disc.
Yeah, same as the one. Just I've never owned it. It was all right.
You
can see nice. What he wanted to do.
You can. It's really the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie really hurt the movie. Everything past the beginning.
Did you catch all the anachronisms and shit that you can see where they fucked up though?
Exactly. You can see exactly how they were trying to connect it to like because it starts at the end of the original movie. And then they put like
jump 30 fucking years, 40, almost 40 years.
Got stealth phones, but you could clearly see this was supposed to be in the early 90s.
yeah, that's the part that bothered me.
What really,
I like the concept, Steven.
Me too.
The problem was, and this is what we talked because I think Greg talked to him about it too. Adam Marcus, the director, or not? He didn't direct this one, but he wrote it.
He wrote this one.
He also directed. Jason Goes to Hell, and what was his other movie he directed?
His Christmas one?
Oh no, I was thinking of a different one. But anyway, maybe I'm just thinking of My Boyfriend's Back. He wrote. He did.
Oh yeah, he helped with the Boyfriend's Back. Yeah.
Yeah. But so this one, what was I going to say here? Okay, yeah, he wrote it as a sequel to the original film.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to take place in the 90s. Because the movie starts out at the end of the first movie, like it picks up like after,
like right afterwards.
Like that girl got back to town, told everybody what happened, and now that everybody in town come to dole out some vigilante justice, basically. And there's a baby, and of course that baby gets adopted by a local family and raised as one of their own, but when she turns, that's the other thing that's kind of weird.
She's like 23.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because her aunt or her biological aunt or whatever it was dies.
Mm-hmm.
And so she gets what's left of the family home, which was a home that was adjacent to the original Sawyer family house. And so her and her friend, typical setup.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets there and the lawyer gives them the papers to work and the keys and all that shit. And of course, she fails to read what she's supposed to read. And guess who's in the basement?
Yes. The thing is, I liked where he was going with it, and you could totally tell the studio meddled with it.
Yes.
I like the idea that maybe the final girl, the protagonist, is actually a Sawyer, and that she might be a little crazy. I do, and like
not only that he won't kill family.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing.
I like that idea. And that would have been like a nice little twist to discover at the end of the movie. You know what I mean? But then you wouldn't have the setup of how she got
you wouldn't have the whole idea. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the start who she is, the whole family. I mean,
yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. My issue was where the studio meddled and made it a modern, because that's where I'm like, wait a minute. The birth certificate says 74. That means her ass would be like,
she's like
fucking 10 years old, 14, like fucking almost 6 years older than me. Like, what the fuck?
But I didn't like that they tried to I didn't like that the townspeople became the bad guys. I didn't like that in the beginning. I mean, I get it where they were going with that, especially because that's something that was in small town Texas. That's probably what they would do. But like, it picks up at the end of the movie, and then all of a sudden, when they get to the house, there's a whole slew of people in this house that were never there before. And I feel like they really waste Gunnar Hansen, and they waste Bill Moseley in cameos in the beginning like that. As families, like let's just give them to him. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't like all that business either. Yeah,
I didn't like that in the beginning. I think it kind of
the setup could have been done much better. You're right. I agree.
Yeah, that's where it got me. The setup in the beginning was messed up, and then the ending with the whole "do your thing," cause I mean, it was great to see her titties jiggle, even though you don't get to see them.
The line is the problem.
But the line is really the big problem.
Yeah,
but the fight between him and the mayor was pretty cool. So
I mean, and that's where I guess I don't have so much a problem. Like, okay, we're looking at it from a different perspective, because that's the thing. I guess you got to think about what Adam's doing with this film is he's taken us from a different role here. He has, if they'd have done it right, you almost could have done this in a way where like you're not so sure that she's like related to him or whatever, just so much that she just happens to be at the wrong house or whatever, or something like that. You could have done anything, because her name doesn't even have to be the same, didn't even have to change families, whatever. Could have had a number of ways of getting her into that situation, and then finding out later that she's related to the family. But what then they do then is they switch the point of view role 2/3 of the way through the film, right? Like through the first part of the film, you're not quite sure, how to feel about it. And then when you realize, okay, he's not going to kill her, well, then that's when they try to swap the film around to where, okay, so the Sawyers now are the protagonists instead of the antagonists.
Yeah.
And all the films have kind of been that way in a weird way.
Sort of.
I mean, it's kind of
to me like they're trying to make them too good, and the townspeople became really
I get what
evil.
you're saying. Yes, like they overdo the redneck kind of.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I could see a redneck dick mayor. I could see a redneck dick mayor who would like, let's kill them all. I get it. That's fine. But then like the whole town people are like that, and then the Sawyers, like even Leatherface.
You almost, and I hate saying this because it would have made the movie longer and probably even bogged it down to more boringness. But to be able to justify the way the city is like to justify making them the bad guys, you almost have to make it to where like they are complicit in what the Sawyers had been doing to this point.
Exactly.
Until they fucked with the wrong person. And it's like, okay, so you had no problems with them killing. Like, you just had to have a scene basically like that. It's like, oh, you guys didn't seem to have a fucking issue with them killing tourists at end and going there and eating their chili. But now all of a sudden you got a fucking problem.
Yeah, it could have been like, oh, that's the Sawyers. We leave them alone. They leave us alone.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's they don't mess really with townfolk. Yeah. Or that's what you do is you just have that situation. Like, yeah, before that they didn't mess with townfolk. Now they messed with my cousin or my
exactly
my friend's daughter or whatever, and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really not. After you get past the opening, and then it gets to the movie, and she gets to the house, and her friends are there, and he comes out, and he's. I mean, it's when he fucking running down that hallway in the dark. If you remember that scene is legit scary. Like when they're when they're going down there, and then all of a sudden you hear dum, 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 and he comes out. That's it was a pretty good jump scare. So like it's got some good stuff. It's just you can tell the studio meddled. I thought the setup was a little poorly executed, and the ending I thought was a little bit of a thing. But I did like I said, it's an interesting thing. Like when she's in the car with Scott Eastwood's character, who just happens to just disappear. He never gets anything. He just kind of disappears from the movie. But like when she's in the back seat of the police car and she like stabs it, he says, so you're whatever. And then she stabs it. He goes, well, she's like, I'm a Sawyer. And she's got these crazy eyes. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, oh, she's as crazy as the Sawyers. So I like the setup there and all that, but it was poorly executed.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think they should have let Adam direct it. It probably would have turned out better.
Oh, I bet.
And it would have been a way for him to maybe kind of one fans over after the whole, Jason Goes to Hell business. Because it would have been like, okay, maybe you didn't really do what you're trying to do, but you managed to do here what you were trying to do there. He could have maybe pulled it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a decent idea. It's poorly executed. I wish it would have been better. Yeah. Sadly, it's one of the better sequels. And to answer Brian's question there is none.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they are literally all sequels to the original film.
Yeah, pretty much.
and prequels. None of them are connected to any of the sequels in any way, shape, or form. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is a sequel to the first film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is a sequel to the first film. Even though it's called Part 3, it's still a sequel to the first film. It totally ignores the events of Part 2. Texas Chainsaw, the fourth one with Matthew McConaughey or whatever, The Next Generation, as far as I know, ignores the first one or everything but the first one. Or does it? Because maybe that one does acknowledge. I'm trying to remember.
Tries to be like.
Isn't he supposed to be like one of the kids of like either Chop Top or one of the other ones? Anyway, isn't that kind of the whole deal? I have not seen it only once. I'd have to rewatch it.
Me too.
But that has the worst fucking Leatherface in it of all the films. And then this one again is a sequel to the first one, which I would wish Adam would at least acknowledge the first two, because those were Toby Hooper's movies. I don't give a shit what anybody else does, but like you gotta count the first two. And then of course the remakes. Well, then there's just the remake and then the prequel to the remake. So and then there was the other remake or whatever you want to call it.
Prequel to the first movie, where it's about Leatherface as a kid, as a teenager. So it's a prequel to the original, I think.
Oh, that one that was called Leatherface or whatever.
Yeah,
that actually was a movie that was made that was not related to Texas Chainsaw, but it was so close to Texas that I think the company bought it and just slapped the name on it or whatever.
Yeah, this is like some teenager who
and then you had the Netflix remake or reboot or whatever from like 2 years
which is supposed to be a sequel to the original.
It's supposed to be a sequel to the original.
He's the last one of left, which is I've heard.
Then you got the remake and its prequel, but yeah.
This one's easy. Part 2.
Oh God, yes. I'll even argue that Part 2 is better than the first movie in some cases.
The first one is a great horror movie. It's a good watch, and it can be a struggle to get through. But Part 2 is just fucking fun.
It's a quintessential 80s film, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's a canon movie, so it is just fun. It's crazy.
You fucked up my Sonny Bono wig.
It's got Chop Top. I mean, that's probably most people remember Part 2 from all the characters. It's great. It is a better movie. So yeah. Part 2 is
I
great.
love the second one. Yes.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. But yeah,
I want to make a request. Yeah. Iron Butterfly in a Gata DeVita.
Oh man, Bill Moseley he just knocked it out of the park with that role.
I can't believe it took me I never noticed that in all the years of watching the movie. It's even on the fucking poster. As clear as we can see that corpse was what's his face from the first movie with the birthmark.
Yeah, the hitchhiker is his twin brother. Bill Moseley's his twin brother.
It's supposed to be his twin brother. And I never ever fucking put two and two together. Never even just. Of course, I never really noticed the patch around his eye until the 4K Blu-ray. I mean, I don't know why I never looked at it on the because I think I even had that Breakfast Club poster at one point. But
you know what's one where it really got me, where I really connected it with it was when he's looking for the grenade under the table. And because I remember in the first movie, he pulls out the grenade in the car, in the van with the kid, after they pick him up. And when the dad's going digging through the dead body and finds it, I was like, that's when it clicked in my mind. This is the hitchhiker.
Yeah. And then I caught also this time something I never really caught before either. Doesn't the dad say something about your stupid brother or something like that?
Yeah. He talks about him yeah.
But I love the interview with Moseley where he's talking about how he came up with Chop Top and how they talked about how he's a Vietnam vet and that's where he was during the first movie and how he loved Vietnam. He wishes he could go back.
Yeah. He had a hell of a time there.
He had fun. Hell, I could kill people here and I don't even have to hide it.
It's true. But yeah, this Texas Chainsaw 3D, what's her name? The chick, I can't think of her name right now. She's hot. It's got a decent, when Leatherface shows up and starts killing everybody, that's really good. Just the opening and ending isn't as well executed, and the fudging of the timeline is poor. So,
yeah, I agree. We talked way too long about it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, what do you got, Rookie? If you're there.
Actually, I was thinking I've got a couple of picks here, but I want to save them for next week. And I know you guys have more that you've got. So
I got 2 more.
I want to save mine. I'm trying to space them out a bit. And also,
so you're bypassing your go, or what are you doing here?
Yeah, you can go next. I'll just you can go next. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna save them for next week, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to end on a good note. I feel like I end on a good note with the last one. So
there you go.
All right.
What do you got, Tom?
Straight Outta Compton, a crazy movie called Straight Outta Compton.
Back with the. Can't say that word.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. No, it's a good movie. I'm sure you all have seen it.
Actually, I have not seen Straight Outta Compton yet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I've been meaning to get to because Ice Cube and stuff, but I haven't got to.
Yeah, I picked up the 4K because I think I got it for like $10 or cheaper than that on like Black Friday last week. Apropos. I say last week, I meant last year. Anyway, the movie's good. Of course, do take in mind that Ice Cube and Dr. Dre were heavily involved. So they're of course painted as fucking saints in this movie for the most part.
that's what I heard. It's like they're like you could tell that
And yeah, I mean, Eazy-E's kind of painted as a bit of a selfish asshole of sorts in a lot of bits. And then the rest of them are kind of just ignored.
So what you're telling me is an Ice Cube and Dr. Dre movie,
more or less. Well, it's Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E. It's kind of. In a way, you can almost say it's more like the Eazy-E story, but it doesn't dive so much into his later life, right? Like once they separate, the end of the movie comes quicker and quicker and quicker. And there is like a 3-hour director's cut on here too. Keep in mind. And I don't know. It's one of those that I could take or leave either version, but probably the director's cut's the better of the two. F. Gary Gray, of course, directed it. You got Ice Cube's kid playing his dad. He's all right. And
looks like him.
It works for what it is. But yeah, the director's cut is actually only 20 minutes longer. So the original version's 2.5 hours long. Director's cut's 2 hours and 47 minutes long. So
okay.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. You say it's worth it?
It's an up convert. Keep in mind because 2K master, but yeah, no, it's definitely one of those movies that got Oscar notice, and they did a fairly good job. I mean, there's some things that I feel like they overlooked and or I hate using the term, but whitewashed, I guess. Oh, look who it is.
My arch nemesis.
He probably has seen this one. I bet you've seen this one, haven't you, Runner?
He probably has.
Yeah.
So did they have an Eazy-E movie? No, that's a
I think they did one for like VH1 or like made for cable, maybe, but I don't think so. I think this is the closest they've ever had to one.
Look at this. You were wrong.
Wow.
I can't believe I would have thought Runner would have seen that one. I've been meaning to get to it. I have because I like
the police. Fuck the police. You know what's funny about this, Runner, is you watch this and you'll notice a lot of similarities between this and The Doors.
All that I didn't even watch it.
It's almost like I can't believe this movie. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, they really gave this movie a lot of Oscar notice just because they're black. I guarantee it, because it literally hits almost all the same beats as like The Doors. Like you have, they're all kids from different areas. They get together. They make the group. They start getting in trouble for their music. They literally get arrested for singing "Fuck the Police" on stage at about the same time in the movie where Jim Morrison gets arrested. Like, the beats are all there, Eazy-E dies at the end. Spoilers. Like.
But there's no Val Kilmer, Runner. We got to find who looks like.
He's not in there. Sorry.
Yeah, no Val Kilmer. Because we know Runner and his Val Kilmer obsession and his Tom Cruise obsession. So, but yeah, I have to check it out. it's not something that's been high on my list, but I've heard good things. And
is it better than any other biopic? Not really. It's the basic by the numbers kind of biopic.
We just like every time I think about it, I always think about CB4 with Chris Rock. That's what I.
You know what's funny? Because that movie was making fun of these guys, in a way, and the other gangster rappers. So yeah, you will get some of those vibes from some of it, but not so much. Like it would be fun to watch them back to back and see if they have any similarities. But yeah. I mean, obviously, even Straight Outta Locash is a straight up ripoff or satire of Straight Outta Compton. But
yeah. All right. Well, I'll have to check that out. I'll check it out eventually here.
Yeah, Chris Rock's character in CB4 is pretty much he's Easy. Come on.
Yeah. you can tell. You can tell
except for in real life, Eazy-E was a fucking gangsta, not a fake. But yeah.
What I can't even say the one song from that CB4 movie.
And I'm black, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Black, y'all.
And I'm black, and I'm black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm blackity black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, and it's black, and I'm black, y'all. I love that.
That's an actual song.
Yeah. From CB4.
Because he's part of the Muslim nation or whatever now, so like everything he talks about is the black black movement and the black plight, and he's got a new solo album out, and that's his whole song is I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, and I'm black, and I'm black, y'all.
Oh, that is a funny movie.
Straight Outta Locash, a crazy motherfucker.
Yeah. All right, now
what do you got for us, Greg?
We'll go to something extremely white with me. Where is it? I have Sunshine.
I've never seen that. I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
It's a pretty good movie. I watched it not too long ago. Stars Cillian Murphy, Chris Evans. What's her name? She's everywhere now. What is her name? It's right here on the back. I'm trying to find it. Michelle Yeoh, Rose Byrne,
Brie Larson, Rachel Zegler. No,
I think he meant Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. And Benedict Wong is in this. This has got like some of the Marvel people in it. I forgot all about that when I was watching it. But yeah, this is a good movie. This is a decent movie. Basically, what it is the sun is dying, and they sent up this group of people from across the world. So it is a diverse cast, but it's before the whole diversity thing. So they're sent up. They're actually the second ship that were sent up with carrying a nuclear payload to basically restart the sun, because the Earth has gone into like the cold winter, without the sun. And so everything's going fine until they discover the other ship that was sent up there. They discover the beacon, and they decide to go, you know what? Let's sidetrack our mission and go check out on this. See what happened to those people. What happened?
It sounds oddly familiar, like Event Horizon or something.
No, it's nothing like that, because it's a little more grounded up until a certain point of the movie, which I don't want to give away. So they go over there, and everything just starts to go to shit. Everything starts breaking down. The ship starts messing up. Things happen here. Things happen there. They lose their oxygen thing. They're all going to die. So it's like it comes down to something, and there's something, I don't want to spoil the little third act twist that kind of throws people. The third act twist kind of throws people off. It does, but I kind of like it because I think it lends a little something extra to the movie, because it needed something. Let's be honest, it needed something, and I don't want to spoil the third act twist, but it's good. The cast is great. Cillian Murphy is great. Rose Byrne's great. Chris Evans is actually pretty good in this movie. So it's Benedict Wong who plays Wong in the Doctor Strange movies is in it. Michelle Yeoh's in it. Hiroko Sanada, I can't even say the name. He was in the new Mortal Kombat. He's the captain of the thing. It works well. It's a Danny Boyle movie. I actually think some of the special effects is actually for real, like practical. Because like the shipping, like when things explode and stuff, it looks like it was legitimately done practical, not done CGI. So and the Blu-ray scan is pretty good. So if you get a chance to see it, yeah, you can watch it during Halloween. It's good, but it's a decent flick. It's a decent flick. It's nothing's going to set the world on fire, but it's a decent sci-fi flick with a decent cast. A lot of them before they were really famous. So check it out if you guys want to check it out. So, and will they restart the sun? What happens? Who knows? So you have to watch it and check it out. But yeah,
cool.
there you go. Yeah, I think you would probably dig this one, Rookie. Tom, you probably like a little bit.
I might have it on accident. I don't know. I'll have to check my
might have it
DVDs. It's one of those ones that might have I bought something and then it recommended something and I was like, oh, maybe it recommends it and I recognize some of the people and it's with Spates, so I might have gotten it.
Yeah,
I might have bought it. I don't know.
Maybe this is what throws a lot of people off in the third act, but that's all I will say. I'm not going to say anything else. It throws a little because the movie actually is a pretty solid, grounded sci-fi flick up until the third act of the movie. Then it kind of gets a little weird, and it throws people off a little bit. But I like
that. Can be a good thing, a tone shift in a a mean, that's what a lot of movies kind of do. Like Predator kind of did that, and other films kind of do that sometimes, where it starts off with one tone, then turns into something else. It's like, oh fuck, what? As it goes, so that's fine.
And yes, it leaves you satisfied and uneasy. It does. It really does. Right. Yeah, they did 28 Days Later too. But yeah, Rookie, did you want to do another one before we go back to? Because I didn't know if you had.
No, I was thinking about it, but it's like I feel like I did a good 3 this time. I did a good 3 last time. I'm gonna try to have a good streak here. So
I'm not gonna argue with him.
No. All right. What do you got, Tom?
All right. Well, this kind of goes off my last one. And this is one that I think you would like more so, Rookie. And actually it's kind of a class in filmmaking. Because this is the movie that opened the door for movies like Straight Outta Compton to even be considered for Oscars. And I tell you what, it's hard out here for a pimp.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp.
And now it's on 4K.
Hustle and flow.
Hustle and flow, yo.
What pisses me off is I have to hang on to this for one stupid special feature that they didn't carry over. Just one. Measly little stupid special feature, and it's not even really worth keeping at the end of the day. It sucks.
You can't even rip off the file and
I looked, it's not on YouTube. Nobody has it on YouTube either. It's literally some guy from the crew.
Oh man.
It's like this video of him singing an acoustic version of It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. And for some reason, it's the only thing not carried over here. Because they obviously didn't want to pay him or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, it has to be something to try.
Otherwise, every other thing is carried over here. But yeah, this is a movie that is definitely a class in independent filmmaking. This was one of Terrence Howard's first films. This was shot on 16 millimeter, believe it or not. Honestly, it's not a huge upgrade over this, and that's kind of the reason why. It does look better, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, whoa, or anything like that. So if you already own this, you're not gaining a whole hell of a lot from upgrading. I hate saying it, but because they don't even add a new soundtrack or nothing to it. I mean, it looks better, don't get me wrong, but it's 16 millimeters, so
yeah.
Marginal improvement on the colors.
I didn't realize this was an independent film.
So
technically,
what's it about?
So you've never seen this? Okay.
It's hard out here for a pimp. Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay. Yeah. What it's about is this guy named DJ who's a pimp. And it's actually the guy who wrote and directed it, a white dude, believe it or not. I was trying to remember his name here. Craig Brewer. He grew up in the same area. Yeah. He grew up in the same Craig, not Greg, but yeah.
I know, but just
he grew up in the same area that this movie is shot in and takes place. And what he wanted to do was show what real pimps and guys were like in that area and hoes and all that shit. Because in most movies you see you got the Huggy Bear type pimp.
Yeah.
And they're usually bitch slapping women and the women just want to get away from them and all that kind of shit. And they're just abusing the women and all that kind of crap. No, he's like, in reality, a lot of these girls seek out a pimp for protection. Right? Because otherwise they get screwed over, beat up, all that kind of shit. And not only that, it's more than just the hooking part. What they'll generally have is like they'll have their top bitch and then their bottom bitch and whatever. And the top bitch is usually one who doesn't necessarily hook so much as she is usually working for like a strip club or something else a little bit more prestigious and making all the big money. And then you have your other girls down the line. Well, he's got like 3 girls. One's knocked up, one's fresh off the farm, and the other one's a total fucking bitch, and that's his top bitch. And he's hitting what he's considering his midlife crisis because he realizes he's lived longer than his dad has at this point. And he just wants a change in his life. He lives in this rundown shack with these 3 women and the one woman's baby. And like I said, he's got another one on the way that obviously isn't his. But he, you know, it's just kind of about how he's taking care of these girls. And the other side of it is how the director happened to know, shit, I forgot the real rapper's name. He's actually even got some songs and he's got a cameo in the movie too. But anyway, he knew a real rapper from that area. And so it's kind of loosely based on how that rapper got out of that area by starting to do rap, underground rap. And then this also came around the same time Crunk was really getting big. No, it's a good film. He just kind of stumbles into writing songs, and then he runs into a friend from high school who happens to work with sound equipment and production and stuff like that. So they combine forces, and it's just kind of about the struggle and what he's got to do to get the money together to get the demo made. Because it's all kind of revolved around. He's also a drug dealer too, of course.
Yeah.
And Isaac Hayes has this bar in town, and this rapper who's based on the one that loosely based on the idea of what the one guy had, you know, about a rapper that made it to the big time. He's called Skinny something or other. I can't remember his last name now for some reason. But they just call him Skinny through most of the movie anyway. And so he knows he's going to meet up with him to sell him some weed. So his whole thing is, you know, I can hustle women and shit all day long. I think I can hustle this guy into taking my demo tape. So that's kind of his whole thing, is he set himself up to, I got to get this demo tape done by the 4th of July because that's when I'm supposed to meet up with this guy. And so it's pretty much about everything he will do at all costs to get this shit done. And it's just an engrossing fucking story. I've watched it twice in the last 2 weeks because it's just one of those movies. And I remember loving it when it first came out too. And it was one of those movies that, oh yeah, I remember loving that movie when it showed up in the mail and I watched it again. So yeah, it's a great flick. It's got, like I said, Terrence Howard, Taraji P. Henson. What the hell's that other dude's name? I forgot his name now. Comedian guy. Anthony Anderson. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ludacris is the rapper that's in it, but yeah, there's another couple rappers in it too. So no, it's a really, really, really good film. And it actually won. I think I got nominated for a few Oscars, but the one it won, surprisingly, was for the song "It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp."
Yeah, it's hard out here.
That sounds pretty good.
Rap song to ever win an Oscar.
I've probably heard. I swear I've probably heard a remix version that they popularized. The "Hard Out Here for a Bitch." I've heard that, which was not very good. So I'm hoping that "Hard Out Here for a Pimp" sounds a little better as well.
It's hard out here for a pimp is a good song. Actually,
yeah,
all the songs are really good.
Yeah,
3 6 Mafia worked on the music for this. Yeah, you got like Whoop
that's who it was. That's who I was trying to think, because they performed it live at the Oscars.
Did South Park parody this at all? Because I feel like this sounds like where Butters is like becoming a pimp or whatever.
Well, they
like,
had
you got to know how to pimp and handle your bottom, bitch. That's your motherfucking money.
But I don't know how much of it was a parody of this, so much as just
in general, right?
But no, that was the big part of his motivation, though, is he actually wanted to show what it was really like. You know, like that they're not a bunch of, you know, fur coat wearing, Huggy Bear looking type guys who beat up women all day.
The surface.
Yeah,
it's more about the struggle and the hustle. Yeah,
because it's hard out there for a pimp.
Right,
your motherfucking money.
What's up, Pop Retro? This guy's a great guy here. He does a great physical media channel. He gets lots of stuff. You guys check him out one day. He's cool. Nice. We need to have him on here in the show if we can get him on here.
Nice.
But yeah, that's a good movie. I figured I'd just probably stay with the Blu-ray then, though. So
yeah, if you got it on Blu-ray at this point, Unless you come, I'd wait for it just to come on sale. Yeah, and like I said, it is an improvement. Don't get me wrong. But
Bryant is asking if Terrence Howard is.
Yes, as I said, it's one of his earlier films. Yep.
Yeah, and
he actually turned it down. They kept chasing him, and he didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
because he's like, I'm already sick of playing pimps and drug dealers. Because at that point in his career, that's all he'd played. You know, like Drug Dealer 2, Pimp number 1. You know.
Yeah.
And then he tried changing the movie when he came in because he didn't want to do it as rap.
Oh,
because
really?
believe it or not, Terrence Howard is actually a very good guitar player, classical guitar. And he's like, no, I want him to write like real music, like rock and roll and some classic, you know, like type stuff. And like, no.
No, it's got to be rap.
It's kind of the whole point. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's one of those movies where, and they do a good job with the music because they have to take into consideration, you know, if you watch this movie a lot of times, you're going to hear these songs a lot, and they got to be catchy, and they are.
Yeah,
so it works. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe it was an independent film. I did not realize that at all. Yep. Maybe because it's just because I was so used to like
MTV picked it up. Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting. Alrighty. Any other words, thoughts, whatever?
No, like I said, other than, I mean, just the dumbassity of Paramount.
It's a hit and miss with them.
And honestly, I'm not a fan of this cover art. Not a fan at all.
It looks pretty plain.
The movie.
It is bad. This is the original poster art.
Yeah, that looks
a little better. They have the original poster art if you fold it out like this. But like on the inside, I can't flip it to another poster art or nothing. That's what they stick you with, and it's got just pictures on the other inside. But yeah, and it's a reprint. I checked; it's a reprinted Blu-ray, so it's the 4K scan without the special feature because that's where the special. There are no special features on the 4K, obviously.
Of course. Yeah, I heard that too. Terrence Howard's. I think he has some. Don't he have like a memory problem or something?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear that. That's the first I heard it.
I've heard something that he's retiring.
That's too bad.
Maybe somebody else I'm thinking about who has memory, but I could have sworn it's because Terrence Howard has memory problems or something.
That's true. It's the first I heard of it.
Maybe I could be wrong though. I don't quote me, Dad. Don't say you know. Sorry, excuse me, because I really don't.
I don't remember saying. Just say I don't remember saying.
I should. Yeah, I don't remember if he said that or not. I thought it'd be funny if they recast him as Black Panther.
That would be great.
Then, but everybody's like, "You remind me of somebody," except for Rhodey. He's just like, "I don't know you." No, that's funny.
But no, I just looked up. No, he doesn't have memory problems. He says at 53 years old, he has reached the end of what he can do. The actor shared this is a new group of actors doing things, and he cannot do.
Oh wow!
And he wants to support and shit. So he's retiring because
that's too bad.
Like he's done. So yeah,
I did not know that. Oh wow! Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
When did this come out? Just recently?
Just recently, yeah. I just looked it up. Yeah. Damn. It must be somebody else. I was thinking about memory problems. But yeah, that sucks.
Maybe that's why there's nothing new on here for special features either. Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for, is being basically kind of like a quasi anniversary. I think. Yeah, the original came out in 2005, so it's not quite the 20th anniversary yet, but right around the corner.
Interesting. All right. I guess we'll move on to my final pick of the night since Rookie wants to stay on a high note. So
yes, I don't want to have too many low bars already.
Mine's nothing special. I just I had never really honestly seen the movie I'm going to talk about all the way through. And it's only on DVD, so it's not the whole canon box set. It's in the canon box set I have here. But Hellbound. Speaking of canon, we talked a lot of canon tonight. I didn't even think about it. Where's it at? If I can get, where's it at?
Bloodsport's in there too.
Yes, Bloodsport is in here too. I just now realized
is that a different. No, it's Warner Brothers. Okay, so it's probably the same.
Yeah, so I watched Hellbound, the final canon movie ever made, starring Chuck Norris. It's the final canon movie, period. Yeah,
I have
never
never
really...
seen that box set before. That is amazing.
Oh, you've never seen this one?
No, I have not.
Oh,
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I probably have most of it. It includes Electric Boogaloo too on top of it. Oh, it's a DVD set. Okay.
It's a DVD set though. Yeah, I have most of these on Blu-ray too, other than the ones that you can't, like the Chuck Norris Hitman and Hellbound, and I don't actually have Electric Boogaloo on Blu-ray, so I'm glad to have that.
Right.
But most of these I have on Blu-ray already. But I had never watched Hellbound all the way through before, and considering
does it say bombs or boobs on the front there?
Oh, boobs.
Booby
no
bombs.
Babes. It says bombs, babes.
It does say bombs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it says bombs, babes, and blockbusters of Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe they put bombs on there, but okay. I know they probably mean the exploding kind, but
yeah. It's a good set. It's a good DVD set. If you want a good Canon DVD set, $20, you can't go wrong.
Looks like a nice starter pack, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good starter pack. But like I said, most of these I do still have on Blu-ray already, other than like the Hellbound stuff, which is only available on DVD. Which I'm really surprised Vinegar Syndrome or Scream Factory has not put Hellbound out on a special thing. But then again, this has stuff to do with Warner Brothers, so maybe that's why. The Hellbound is a weird freaking movie. It goes from blurring the lines of like this really dark horror type movie into like an upbeat Chuck Norris happy movie where he's like an action kick-ass star. And then like it starts off, actually when the movie starts off, I think it feels like it's Army of Darkness. I keep waiting, like the way the movie starts, I'm like, where's Ash? With the music and marching through the desert and people, because it starts off in the past. It's a great looking box, yeah. But essentially, the story is there's the servant of the devil. He wants to raise the devil, and he's like this evil demon being guy. The Crusaders, the Knights of the Crusade, stop him and lock him in this. In a tomb, and then like years later he gets released, and they break up his scepter that gives him his power. So like he's putting all the pieces of his scepter back together so that he can sacrifice a virgin and raise the devil. Well, not sacrifice a virgin, but like sacrifice a royalty, not a virgin, and so he can raise the devil. Chuck Norris is a police officer in Chicago, and him and his partner just happen upon this demon in Chicago one night, this guy, and so they chase him all the way to Israel, and they stop the end of the world. So that's the plot of the movie. Yep. That's the plot of the movie. Night, Brian Barth. Thanks for hanging with us. But it's an all right movie. It's a good. Like I said, the tone goes a little uneven here and there because it was made in like 1990. I want to say 92. I can't remember what year they said. I think it's 92, maybe 92 or 94, whatever. It feels like it was meant to be an 80s movie, and that like it was a little out of the touch with the 90s because like the Chuck Norris stuff is like 80s style action. Like he's kicking. Speaking of pimps, he's beating up pimps that are smacking women around in Chicago, and then he's fighting a guy who's a demon with supernatural powers, killing people, tearing out hearts. It's like in the shadows where he's got this deep voice and glowing eyes and fingernails, and he's tearing people's hearts out. Then you cut back to Chuck Norris and his partner, and it's like this buddy cop comedy movie. It's like tonal shifts, like they couldn't decide how they wanted to go. And it's directed by Chuck Norris's brother, Aaron Norris, who did a lot of his movies especially with Cannon. But yeah, I'm really surprised that Vinegar Syndrome or Shout Factory, Scream Factory, or even Kino has not put out a good Blu-ray of that movie, considering it is Cannon's final film, and it's just a weird freaking movie, and it's a fun watch. So yeah, I felt like watching it. I had never seen it all the way through, and I figured, what the heck, I have the DVD sitting out, and I might as well watch it. So.
Is there any like one-liners that are pretty good there from Chuck Norris?
Of course there is. I'm trying to think of some. because this was one of the ones I watched earlier on in the week, so it's not as fresh in my mind as some of the other ones I just watched. Let me think here. I mean, it's not as memorable one-liner lines as like you would think. No, I can't. I'm not thinking.
Isn't like America kick. You know,
no, nothing like that.
I'm here to eat cheeseburgers and kick ass. I'm all out of cheeseburgers or something. No.
Nothing like that. Nothing. I mean, actually, he doesn't really say much in this movie. It's his partner. He's got like a black partner who's like the comedic relief who does a lot of the talking. Like, even he makes a joke towards him at one point in the movie. He's like, "You always got to be perfect and upright, but you never say anything." And it's like, yeah, because like Chuck Norris is like the silent hero type guy.
He's not like a Chris Tucker type of sidekick character, is he?
No, but it's sort of in that vein. It's sort of in that vein, but like you classic, like I'm Chuck Norris, the white guy, badass hero, and this is my goofy black sidekick guy. You know, it's sort of like that.
Yeah, that can be fine sometimes, but man, I gotta tell you, like Rush Hour, like I like Rush Hour, but Chris Tucker's the worst part of that.
He's not like Chris Tucker, but I like Chris Tucker.
And oh my god,
and speaking,
my ears, I can't take it. I'm just like,
speaking of, yeah, he's not like that. His partner's not like that. But speaking of him doing this during Walker, half the cast of not half the cast of Walker, but the chick that's in Walker and him, they're in the movie together. It's like he uses some of the same cast members from Walker in this movie. So like his love interest is the same love interest he has in Walker the TV series. But yeah, it's a fun watch. I'm honestly blanking a lot on the dialogue because he really doesn't say much. It's mostly his partner that talks, and then like the demon talks a lot, talking about how he's going to kill people and raise the devil. So
my arch nemesis, Chuck Norris, you've arrived to fight me once and for all for the first and last time. I have no idea what to expect in that film.
No, so not much like that. But like, there you go. That's my final pick of the night. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Tom. If you've ever seen Hellbound or not. I know Rookie has it.
For some reason, I want to say I have, but I don't remember it. I mean, things you said sound familiar. I think I would have watched it like randomly on video or cable years ago.
Yeah,
you could watch it for the first time again.
I can see it's not the best canon movie.
Sometimes
it's not the best
like
Chuck
that.
Norris. Yeah,
it is.
Entirely forget a film. Gotcha.
You'd be surprised, especially the older I get.
No, I'm not surprised, honestly. I feel like there's a couple movies I've watched where I was like halfway through, I'm like, wait a second, I've seen this whole movie before. And it just like doesn't click. I'm like, oh, this is kind of familiar. Okay. But I have no idea what it was. It's like, okay. I think it's because like from when I used to watch things on TV and I don't catch the title or something. It's like, oh, that's familiar now. Okay.
Yeah. That's happened to me too. But yeah, that was it. It just, I don't know. I wanted to watch that. I hadn't seen the whole movie all the way through until then. It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but it's not a bad movie. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a cheesy B cult movie. Just my speed. But it was definitely not going to win any Oscars. It wasn't going to beat Speed in the box office. It wasn't going to,
the Sandra Bullock and what's his face?
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't going to beat The Matrix. It wasn't going to beat The Matrix or that in the 90s action flick. It feels very much like an 80s movie, but which I like. So I like that vibe to it. Yeah. But it's like, it's weird because like it skirts on the edge of like really hardcore R horror, almost showing boobs, ripping people's hearts out. And then all of a sudden you switch it over to Chuck Norris and his partner investigating this crime of trying to figure out who this demon guy is. And it becomes very much like an 80s buddy action cop movie. It's like a little bit schizophrenic. So,
interesting.
Yeah. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys tonight. And any final words from anybody on the panel before we close it out?
Yeah, oddly. So on the DVD cases, the ones that have those little lock things on the side, the little, like, latches, is that called a particular type of case? Like,
what are you talking about? Like the Disney ones?
No. So like, the ones that have like a
just child protective usually.
Yeah, I hate those fucking cases.
I've never had a specific name for those. Now the snap cases are the ones like. Which one? These are the only other cases that would have a special name, just because they have the.
Oh right, the whole thing there.
Yeah. House party.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys prefer the regular, just open them up, normal DVD case, or the ones with the latches?
Because
yes,
I like to be able to, if I have to replace something.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
I hated those DVD cases.
The latches can break all the time, and then it's just like kind of ruins it a little bit. It's like, well,
that's why I
just have it not there. Yeah, so like, I don't know if that was my own pet peeve, because I'm like, when I have the ones with the latches, I'm like, God dang it. So I like to just open. It's one of those kind of lazy things, I guess, too, where it's like I don't want to have to open it up. I just want to.
In a way, they're kind of nice for like. I mean, they're not really going to keep a kid out of a movie, but they're going to make it harder for him to open. It's going to make it harder for it to just fall open.
Or like if you're traveling or something, and it's for some reason loose. Like if there's a latch, there's at least that protection on there, I guess. But
basically, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And thank you, Deleted Scenes. Yeah, no problem, man. It's fun being on here and stuff. And now I have a goal. See, now I have a goal. I've been gathering like a list of movies to buy at some point, but now that I'm going to be on the show here, I've got more of a reason to buy them and show them off or something, or to see what's there. But keep in mind, folks, you'll probably rarely ever see me have like a cool DVD or box case of some kind. I'm gonna get what I can get in terms of physical. So that's about it. It might be a cheap looking thing.
Well, welcome aboard. Everybody seems to like you here, Rookie. You guys would be surprised. He hasn't seen a lot, but we're going to go ahead and close it out for the night. Thank you, Rook. Glad to have you on. Thank you, Tom. To everybody in the chat, thank you all for coming out and supporting us as always. And I'm glad to be back with you guys this week. Apologize for having to missing last week, but as always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing?
Bitches leave.
Bitches leave.